Chapter 68. Yes, there's a change in the heavenly fire martial ranking. Elder Lu and Elder Tan, who were waiting in the main hall, noticed the white light shining from the jade wall and immediately cast their gazes on it. Jiang Yijuan, he made it to the heavenly fire martial ranking. Looking at the change in the jade wall, Elder Tan and Elder Lu found Jiang Yijuan's name at the end of the jade wall. Elder Lu, I said that Jiang Yijuan has a chance to make it to the heavenly fire martial ranking. Now, do you still think that Yi Chenfeng will succeed? Elder Tan revealed a faint smile and asked. This Jiang Yijuan's strength is not bad, but Yi Chenfeng has yet to come out of the heavenly soul array, right? Maybe he can create a miracle. Elder Lu said slowly, but his tone was much weaker. Elder Lu, stop joking. Putting aside the fact that it's his first time in the heavenly soul array, just his strength as a level 1 beast illusionist is enough to determine that he won't be able to make it to the heavenly fire martial ranking. Elder Tan retorted. Let's wait patiently. Elder Lu took a deep breath and said. After about a minute, the heavenly fire martial ranking changed again. Jiang Yijuan's ranking went up again to the 49th place. Yes, someone came out. After the change in the jade wall, a groan suddenly sounded in the silent main hall. A figure flew out of the array light door and landed on the cold ground in a sorry state. Jiang Yijuan. When Elder Tan saw Jiang Yijuan lying on the ground with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth and his clothes severely damaged, his eyebrows twitched slightly. He had thought that Yi Chenfeng would end his challenge before Jiang Yijuan. However, the reality was completely different from what he had imagined. 49th place, I finally made it to the heavenly fire martial ranking. Jiang Yijuan wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and got up from the ground. When he saw the ranking on the jade wall, he revealed an excited smile. Yes, where's Yi Chenfeng? Where did he go? After confirming that he had made it to the heavenly fire martial ranking, Jiang Yijuan immediately searched for Yi Chenfeng. He wanted to ruthlessly provoke him, but he realized that he wasn't in the main hall. Elder Tan, where did Yi Chenfeng go? Jiang Yijuan asked Elder Tan, who was testifying for them. Yi Chenfeng hasn't come out of the heavenly soul array. Elder Tan said. What? With his strength, how could he hold on for so long? Jiang Yijuan's expression changed as he spoke in disbelief. His results can't be better than mine. He must be hiding somewhere to buy time. Jiang Yijuan comforted himself with a gloomy expression. Buzz buzz. Just as Jiang Yijuan was comforting himself, a blinding white light shone out from the ranking jade wall. The names at the end of the ranking jade wall changed again. A name that Jiang Yijuan, Elder Tan, and the others couldn't believe appeared at the end of the ranking jade wall. Impossible, this can't be true. The joy of charging up the heavenly fire martial ranking disappeared without a trace. Jiang Yijuan rubbed his eyes with all his might, unable to accept the reality in front of his eyes. A trace of unease appeared in his heart. Yi Chenfeng, he really did it. Elder Lu's mood was the complete opposite of Jiang Yijuan's. Seeing that Yi Chenfeng had ascended the heavenly fire martial ranking, he was sincerely happy for Yi Chenfeng. Elder Tan, I wasn't wrong, right? This Yi Chenfeng will definitely give us a huge surprise, Elder Lu said with a smile. Elder Lu, you have sharp eyes. This Yi Chenfeng's talent might even surpass Fu Yue and Lin Fuxin. Elder Tan took a deep breath and suppressed the shock in his heart as he praised. The ranking jade wall has changed again. Just as Elder Lu and Elder Tan were discussing Yi Chenfeng, the ranking jade wall changed again. Yi Chenfeng's results improved again, surpassing Jiang Yijuan to be ranked 49th. This can't be real. I must be dreaming. He can't be so powerful. Thinking about his bet with Yi Chenfeng, Jiang Yijuan had a strong sense of unease in his heart. A trace of cold sweat flowed down his forehead. At this moment, in the 4th space of the heavenly soul array, Yi Chenfeng was bathed in blood as he fought with 2 Class 4 beast illusionists. In order to kill the 2 of them, Yi Chunfeng increased his physical strength to the maximum and merged it with his soul power, reaching a strength of 25,000 pounds. Blood Serpent Seal. Yi Chunfeng's left hand quickly formed a series of complicated seals. A lifelike blood serpent instantly turned into a blood-red palm print and forced the Class 4 beast illusionist to retreat. Following that, ripples appeared in the air and a sharp sword radiance shot out like lightning. It directly split the Class 4 beast illusionist's body and killed him. After killing a Class 4 beast illusionist, Yi Chunfeng's pressure was greatly reduced. In a flash, he closed in on the Class 4 beast illusionist, who was forced back by the blood serpent seal, and launched a thunderous attack at him. Bang! The heavily injured level 4 beast illusionist was hit by Yi Chunfeng's strongest attack. His entire body was immediately filled with cracks. When the 25,000 kilograms of force rushed into his body, he let out a painful howl. His entire body exploded, turning into a cloud of light and dissipating in the air. Huff, huff, the fourth space of the Heavenly Soul Array is indeed very difficult. Yi Chunfeng had used up a lot of soul power and physical strength to kill his way to the middle of the fourth space. However, after experiencing life and death situations, Yi Chunfeng's understanding of sword aura had increased by another level. He had comprehended the essence of the concept of shape-shifting illusion. The concept of shape-shifting illusion was the concept of shadow. Only by grasping the essence of the concept of shadow could one condense a speed shadow and cultivate shape-shifting illusion to the first level. So, a faint light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet as he increased his speed to an unimaginable level. He moved around on the narrow stone path, dodging the attacks of the level 4 beast illusionists who tried to ambush him like a ghost. As Yi Chunfeng moved faster and more nimbly, an afterimage faintly appeared behind him. The appearance of this afterimage slightly increased Yi Chunfeng's speed and allowed him to easily dodge the attacks of the Class 4 beast illusionists. Just as Yi Chunfeng was using shape-shifting illusion and dashing towards the end of the stone path, he suddenly felt a strong sense of danger from the depths of his heart. His entire body spun around twice and dodged an extremely fast spear attack. Class 5 Beast Illusionist. Looking at the black-clothed man who was holding a black spear and blocking his way, Yi Chunfeng revealed a serious expression. From the aura that the black-clothed man was emitting, he had reached the realm of a level 5 beast illusionist. If he was at his peak, he had the confidence to kill a Class 5 beast illusionist. However, at this moment, he was severely exhausted and couldn't unleash his full strength. More importantly, his escape route was blocked by the 6 level 4 beast illusionists who were chasing after him, leaving him with no way out. Let's fight! Facing a strong opponent, Yi Chunfeng erupted with an unprecedented battle intent. As he let out a loud roar, he was like an arrow leaving the bow. With an ear-piercing sound, he closed in on the rank 5 beast illusionist at an extremely fast speed. Chapter 69. Half-Step Sword Form. This sword, no matter if it was the power or the sword form, it had reached perfection. The terrifying sword form swallowed the world and ruthlessly slashed towards the rank 5 beast illusionist who was blocking him. The shocking sword light flashed in front of the rank 5 beast illusionist's eyes. He didn't dodge and welcomed the sword light with his spear. The black spear was like a dragon emerging from the sea, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws as it rushed forward. Boom! The two powerful forces clashed together and immediately set off a huge wave. The powerful force caused Yi Chunfeng's arms to go numb. He lost control of his body and fell backward. Facing the half-step sword form head-on, the rank 5 beast illusionist didn't have it easy either. The terrifying half-step sword form passed through the black spear and penetrated his arm, tearing open his arm. A sword wound so deep that one could see his sternum appeared on his chest. Just as Yi Chunfeng fell to the ground, a rank 4 beast illusionist suddenly approached him. A fist filled with terrifying soul power ruthlessly smashed onto his back. If Yi Chunfeng didn't reach the large success stage of the flesh refinement realm and his physical body's defense had greatly increased, this fist would have injured his internal organs and made him lose his ability to fight. After receiving a heavy blow to his back, Yi Chunfeng spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood in his body started to boil violently. Without giving him a chance to take a breather, several beast illusionists charged towards him. Deep in danger, Yi Chunfeng held the life-saving stone in his hand. He didn't care about the cost and used the remaining soul power in his body to display the half-step sword form. He condensed a destructive sword light and attacked in all directions. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng was like an Asura bathed in blood. He wasn't afraid of death and only knew how to kill. Under the crazy attacks, the beast illusionists who surrounded him were constantly forced to retreat. The sharp sword light continuously broke through their defenses and attacked their bodies. Soon, there were crisscrossing sword marks on their bodies. However, there were too many beast illusionists surrounding Yi Chunfeng. There were many attacks from tricky angles and continuously hit Yi Chunfeng's body. Soon, Yi Chunfeng's body was filled with bloody holes. The blood that flowed out dyed his clothes red. Die! Yi Chunfeng seized the opportunity when the two level 4 beast illusionists were pushed back by the sharp sword radiance and suddenly attacked. A blurred shadow appeared behind him and increased his speed. He slashed the body of a level 4 beast illusionist who couldn't dodge in time. After the successful surprise attack, Yi Chunfeng took advantage of the opening and continued to attack. After killing 3 rank 4 beast illusionists with all his might, he used up the last bit of his soul energy and crushed the life-saving stone, disappearing from the 4th space of the heavenly soul formation. 39th place. Am I seeing things? It's his first time challenging the array, and he actually made it into the top 40. Is this guy really human? After Yi Chunfeng killed a few class 4 beast illusionists, the ranking Jade Wall changed again. His ranking went up by 2 places and entered the top 40, ranking 39th. It could be said that Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying result had set a new record in the Sky Fire Martial House. No one had ever entered the top 40 on their first attempt at the Heavenly Soul Array. Impossible, this is impossible. This can't be real. He can't be so powerful. Jiang Yijuan couldn't accept this fact and roared in his heart. Demon, this Yi Chunfeng is a demon. His talent definitely surpasses Fu Yue and Lin Fuxin. After witnessing Yi Chunfeng's stunning results, Elder Tan couldn't help but gasp and praise. With the strength and talent he had displayed, Elder Tan believed that he would be able to enter the top 10 of the Sky Fire Martial ranking in less than a year. More importantly, he was only 15 years old and was the youngest person on the Sky Fire Martial ranking. Just as everyone was stunned by Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying ranking, a blood-covered Yi Chunfeng fell out of the array light door. I wonder what rank I can get with 1,357 points. Yi Chunfeng, who was weak, simply recovered the soul energy he had expended. He got up from the ground and came to the Grand Hall. He's finally out. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was covered in blood and looked like an Asura from hell, many people revealed looks of awe. Chunfeng, you've broken through. Elder Lu noticed the change in Yi Chunfeng's realm and asked in surprise. Yes, I was lucky enough to break through in the Heavenly Soul Array. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said humbly. He cast his sharp gaze at Jiang Yijuan and said, Jiang Yijuan, I've made you wait for a long time. Wait for me to recover, then we'll go to the Great Soul Arena to compete. I was too injured in this battle. I can't compete. Jiang Yijuan braced himself and said sullenly. The difference in strength between each rank on the Sky Fire Martial ranking was huge. Jiang Yijuan was only ranked 50th, but Yi Chunfeng had broken into the top 40. It was enough to show the huge difference in strength between the two. At this time, competing with Yi Chunfeng was no different from asking for a beating. Jiang Yijuan didn't dare to accept the challenge. What, are you afraid? Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a sinister smile as he said. Looking at the bloodstains on Yi Chenfeng's firm face and feeling the blood-red color and hostility in his deep black eyes, Jiang Yijuan became timid. He regretted his rashness. He shouldn't have listened to Shintu Heng and provoked Yi Chenfeng. Yi Chenfeng, I admit that I'm not as strong as you. Let's forget about the battle. Jiang Yijuan gritted his teeth and lowered his noble head, admitting defeat in front of everyone. Jiang Yijuan, you can't be such a coward, right? Where did your arrogance go? And we just invited Elder Tan to be a witness. You can't have forgotten, right? Jiang Yijuan surrendered, but Yi Chenfeng didn't want to let him go and said aggressively. Jiang Yijuan, the Sky Fire Martial House has a clear rule. If you go back on the bet, you have to compensate the other party with 500 low-grade soul crystals. Elder Tan slowly walked over and said, 500 low-grade soul crystals, I'll pay. Thinking of Yi Chenfeng's heaven-defying ranking, Jiang Yijuan couldn't summon any fighting spirit. More importantly, he was afraid that Yi Chenfeng would use this opportunity to cripple him. Therefore, he obediently took out 500 low-grade soul crystals to compensate Yi Chenfeng. Elder Lu, Elder Tan, I'm going back. Although he didn't manage to teach Jiang Yijuan a lesson, the low-grade soul crystals were more important to Yi Chenfeng. After putting the 500 low-grade soul crystals into his Qiankuan bag, Yi Chenfeng turned and left. Not long after Yi Chenfeng left the Heavenly Soul Array, his heaven-defying results exploded in the Sky Fire Martial House. Almost everyone knew his name. Third brother, have you heard the news? Yi Chenfeng reached 39th place in his first attempt at the Heavenly Soul Array and forced Jiang Yijuan to compensate him with 500 low-grade soul crystals. After hearing about Yi Chenfeng's heaven-defying results, Shintu Shui and Shintu Yi felt deeply uneasy. They immediately went to Shintu Heng's courtyard. I already know about it. Shintu Heng nodded and said in a lukewarm tone, making it impossible for others to guess his true thoughts. Third brother, this kid is too big of a threat to us. We have to get rid of him. Otherwise, he will become a huge threat to us. Shintu Shui said malevolently. How do we get rid of him? Shintu Heng lectured in a low voice. Yi Chenfeng's talent has probably attracted the attention of the martial house master. If we deal with him now, it will be like hitting a rock with an egg. Then what should we do? We can't just watch him grow. Shintu Shui said unwillingly. Chapter 70. In the pitch-black night, countless stars hung in the sky, surrounding the bright crescent moon. The starlight and moonlight merged together. From afar, it looked like a boundless Milky Way. After a few hours of rest, Yi Chenfeng completely recovered his exhausted soul power and healed his injuries. He woke up from his recovery. I wonder if I have a chance to pass the fourth layer of the Heavenly Soul formation in my current state? After recovering to his peak state, Yi Chenfeng felt that his body was filled with energy. More importantly, after experiencing the life and death tempering in the Heavenly Soul formation, the pill poison in his body had completely disappeared. Now that he had consumed the Juku Spirit Pill, he could unleash its strongest medicinal effect. After eating a simple meal to fill his stomach, Yi Chenfeng walked under the bright moonlight towards the gravity cave. He finally consumed the Juku Spirit Pill and cultivated bitterly for a period of time. The reason why Yi Chenfeng chose to cultivate in the gravity cave instead of the better spirit gathering formation was because he wanted to use the pressure in the gravity cave to forcefully compress the medicinal effect of the Juku Spirit Pill into his organs and cultivate the third layer of the 6 Meridian Divine Constellation realm. This elder, I want to enter the gravity cave to cultivate in the 7-layer space. When Yi Chenfeng arrived at the Cave of Gravity, he saw a skinny old man in a black robe guarding the entrance of the Cave of Gravity. He walked up to the old man and said, 7-layer space. The black-clothed elder raised his wrinkled eyelids and looked at Yi Chenfeng. He coldly reminded, Young man, don't bite off more than you can chew. With your rank 2 beast illusionist cultivation, cultivating in the 7-layer space is no different from courting death. Elder, I am confident that I can withstand the pressure of the 7-layer space. Although Yi Chunfeng's cultivation was not high, he had cultivated the flesh refinement realm to the large success realm. It could be said that his body's endurance surpassed ordinary earth beast generals. No, I won't allow you to fool around. With your strength, you can only cultivate in the 1st or 2nd layer of the gravity cave. The black-clothed elder was unmoved and coldly refused. Senior brother Yi, you just entered the heavenly fire martial ranking, and you came to the gravity cave to cultivate. You are so hard-working. Just as Yi Chunfeng was vexed over how to persuade the black-clothed elder to let him go to the 7-layered forces space to cultivate, Feng Xiaoxiao walked in. She was wearing a tight black training robe that accentuated her seductive figure. Her jet-black hair draped over her shoulders, and her facial features were exquisite. Are you that Yi Chunfeng? Hearing Feng Xiaoxiao's words, the black-clothed elder's eyebrows twitched slightly. The way he looked at Yi Chunfeng changed slightly. Obviously, he had also heard of Yi Chunfeng's heaven-defying results and was extremely shocked. Yes, please allow me to enter the 7-fold space of the gravity cave to cultivate. Yi Chunfeng nodded and pleaded. Gravity cave's 7-fold space. Feng Xiaoxiao jumped in fright and hurriedly said, Senior brother Yi, the gravity cave's 7-fold space is extremely terrifying. The pressure it produces is enough to crush a Class 1 Earth Beast expert into a meat patty. You must not force yourself. Do you think I'm the type to force myself? Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and bitterly smiled. Have you really decided to enter the gravity cave's 7-fold space to cultivate? Seeing the confidence in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the black-clothed elder recalled the message from the martial house master and asked again. Yes, please grant me my wish, elder. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, All right, since you insist on entering the gravity cave's 7-fold space to cultivate, I will give you a chance. Remember, the gravity cave is different from other places. Cultivating in there is extremely dangerous. If you can't endure it, remember not to force yourself. Otherwise, your life will be in danger. The black-clothed elder solemnly reminded. I understand. I won't joke around with my life. Yi Chunfeng nodded and promised. The gravity cave's 7-fold space requires 50 low-grade soul crystals per day. How long do you plan to cultivate? The black-clothed elder asked. All right, I'll cultivate for 10 days first. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and handed over 500 low-grade soul crystals to the black-clothed elder. 10 days. Feng Xiaoxiao sucked in a cold breath. She didn't dare to imagine what it would feel like to cultivate in the gravity cave's 7-fold space for 10 days. Would his body directly collapse? Wait for me here. Follow me. After saying that, the black-clothed elder led Yi Chunfeng along a dark stone path into the depths of the gravity cave's 7-fold space. Be careful. Don't force yourself. The black-clothed elder was still worried and reminded him. Thank you. I will be careful. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and said. After saying that, he stepped through a light door formed by a large number of runes and entered the gravity cave's 7-fold space. After entering the gravity cave, Yi Chunfeng found that the light inside was a little dim. Before he could take a closer look, he instantly felt a terrifying pressure surging over and engulfing his entire body. Bang! Caught off guard, Yi Chunfeng's legs trembled slightly and his knees smashed into the ground. His entire body's muscles trembled violently. What a terrifying pressure! Under the pressure of the pressure, Yi Chunfeng could clearly feel his skin begin to crack, and his blood vessels were exposed. All the cells in his body were unable to withstand the pressure and began to collapse. Yi Chunfeng was in so much pain that his entire body twitched and broke out in cold sweat. If Yi Chunfeng hadn't reached greater success in the flesh refinement realm, the 7-fold space's gravity cave's 7-fold space would have easily destroyed his body and turned him into dust. This is not a place you should be. If you don't want to die, quickly leave. Just as Yi Chunfeng circulated his 6 meridian god shield and bitterly resisted the pressure and healed his body, a cold voice suddenly entered his ears. Following the source of the voice, Yi Chunfeng raised his head with difficulty and vaguely saw a black-clothed person sitting cross-legged in a dark corner. When Yi Chunfeng vaguely saw her face, he was slightly shocked because he discovered that the owner of the voice was actually a woman. What a terrifying woman! Although the light was dim, Yi Chunfeng could clearly feel that this woman had completely adapted to the pressure of the gravity cave's 7-fold space. She was cultivating with ease. "I can endure," Yi Chunfeng said stubbornly. He erupted with his strongest physical strength to resist the mountain-like pressure and sat cross-legged at the entrance with difficulty. After sitting cross-legged, Yi Chunfeng placed a Juku spirit pill that he had prepared beforehand into his mouth. Immediately, a large amount of medicinal energy was released from his mouth and surged into his body like a tide. Pain, heart-wrenching pain. The Juku spirit pill was a 9th-grade pill and contained extremely terrifying medicinal energy. When Yi Chunfeng used the 7-fold space's force to forcefully compress the violent medicinal energy into his internal organs, he immediately felt as if his body was pierced by sharp steel needles. Coupled with the extreme pressure of the 7-fold space's force, the double pain almost made him collapse. "Endure, I can definitely endure." Yi Chunfeng gritted his teeth and endured the inhuman pain as he cultivated the 6-meridian god shield with difficulty. Overestimating yourself. Chapter 71. It has been an hour. This Yi Chunfeng actually managed to persevere and enter a state of cultivation. This is unbelievable. The black-clothed elder was worried about Yi Chunfeng's safety and had been standing guard outside the gravity cavern's 7th-layer space. When he saw Yi Chunfeng, covered in blood, entering a meditative state like an old monk, resisting the terrifying pressure and entering a state of cultivation, a look of disbelief appeared on his face. "It seems like our Sky Fire Martial House has really picked up a treasure this time." The black-clothed elder revealed a faint smile. He was no longer worried about Yi Chunfeng's safety and turned to leave. At this moment, although Yi Chunfeng had forcefully entered a state of cultivation, the pain in his body had not lessened. His muscles were being torn apart by the terrifying pressure and were being repaired by his 6 meridians divine shield. Between the tearing and repairing, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength slowly increased. His physical strength also increased slightly. Compared to the physical pain, the pain from Yi Chunfeng's forceful refinement of his internal organs was even more intense. Yi Chunfeng borrowed the terrifying pressure, and every time the Juku elixir entered his internal organs, he felt as if his heart was being pierced by thousands of arrows. The pain made him hover between life and death, and he was on the verge of collapse. As more and more of the Juku elixir entered his internal organs, the terrifying Juku elixir crazily tempered his heart and lungs, tearing his meridians and causing large amounts of blood to seep out. It could be said that Yi Chunfeng's actions were extremely daring. If it wasn't for the fact that his blood and chi were like smoke, or that his mind wasn't firm, he might have failed at the last step and exploded. However, as the blood seeped out, the impurities in Yi Chunfeng's internal organs were slowly expelled out of his body. His body began to slowly transform. He actually managed to persevere. The black-clothed girl didn't expect that Yi Chunfeng, who was a grade 2 beast illusionist, would be able to persevere under the gravity cavern for an entire day. She revealed a look of astonishment. This was because even she didn't dare to enter this place to cultivate when she was a grade 3 Earth Beast General. However, Yi Chunfeng was able to do it as a grade 2 beast illusionist. This made her interested in Yi Chunfeng. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng, who relied on his willpower to persevere, gradually adapted to the intense pain and successfully entered a state of meditation. After 8 days of bitter cultivation, Yi Chunfeng refined all of the medicinal power of the Juku spirit pill into his internal organs, forcing out a large amount of impurities, allowing his internal organs to complete about 20% of their transformation. If Yi Chunfeng used all of the medicinal power of the Juku spiritual pill to cultivate, then he would have a high chance of breaking through to the third level of the Beast Illusion Master Realm. But if he used it to cultivate the 6 Meridians Divine Shield, he would only be able to cultivate to 20% of the organs refining realm. Yi Chunfeng silently sensed the changes in his body. He was pleasantly surprised to find that his pure physical strength had increased from 15,000 kilograms to 20,000 kilograms. His battle prowess had greatly increased. There were still 2 days before the cultivation deadline. Yi Chunfeng didn't continue to cultivate. He erupted with powerful physical strength and withstood the huge spatial pressure. He stood up with difficulty and left the gravity cavern's 7th layer. When Yi Chunfeng left, the black-clothed girl who had been cultivating in a dark corner opened her eyes. She swept a glance at him and entered a state of cultivation again. After leaving the gravity cavern, Yi Chunfeng immediately felt that his muscles were filled with strength. His soul power that was compressed to the limit had increased by a small amount. This made him deeply experience the benefits of cultivating in the gravity cavern. This made him firm in his desire to continue cultivating. Yi Chunfeng, why did you come out early? Could it be that you couldn't hold on any longer? The black-clothed elder asked with a faint smile when he saw Yi Chunfeng come out 2 days early. Although he said that, the black-clothed elder knew that a rank 2 beast illusionist cultivating in the gravity cavern's 7th layer for 8 days was definitely a record in the Sky Fire Martial House. No, I plan to continue for another 15 days. Yi Chunfeng shook his head. He took out 750 low-grade soul crystals from his spatial bag and handed them to the black-clothed elder. Can you really withstand the gravity cavern's 7th layer after another 15 days? The black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and revealed a shocked expression. He looked at Chu Li as if he was looking at a monster. He couldn't imagine how a rank 2 beast illusionist like Yi Chunfeng could have such terrifying physical endurance. Yes, I have basically adapted to the gravity cavern's 7th layer. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Good, then you can continue cultivating. The black-clothed elder repeatedly sized up Yi Chunfeng. He discovered that although his cultivation didn't increase, his body's aura was much stronger. The shock in his heart was even more intense. Thank you, elder. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng turned and left, returning to the gravity cavern's 7th layer. Why is he back again? The black-clothed woman who had just entered a state of cultivation suddenly discovered that Yi Chunfeng had returned. She revealed a trace of surprise. Feeling the black-clothed woman secretly observing him, Yi Chunfeng responded with a smile. He took out the 2nd Juku spiritual pill from his spatial bag and swallowed it. He endured the pain from the body tempering and continued to cultivate the 6 Meridians Divine Shield. Time passed day by day. As his 5 viscera and 6 bowels absorbed more of the Juku spiritual pill, Yi Chunfeng's breathing became longer and more powerful. The qi and blood in his body became stronger. A thin layer of qi appeared on the surface of his skin, helping him resist the gravity cavern's 7th layer. Around 12 days later, Yi Chunfeng used the powerful pressure to forcefully temper the 2nd Juku spiritual pill into his 5 viscera and 6 bowels. He cultivated the viscera refinement realm to 40%. His pure physical strength had reached a shocking strength of 25,000 kilograms. His cultivation realm had also increased, and unknowingly, he was on the verge of a breakthrough. Phew! Yi Chunfeng opened his tightly shut eyes and exhaled. His breathing was continuous and deep, and his aura was abundant. This was the sign of the viscera refinement realm. If one cultivated the viscera refinement realm to the greater success realm, one could faintly emit a stormy wave of aura between breaths. It was extremely terrifying. It is probably impossible to cultivate the viscera refinement realm to more than 50% in a short period of time. Although Yi Chunfeng still had a Juku spiritual pill, after consuming 2 Juku spiritual pills consecutively, his body had developed a strong resistance to the Juku spiritual pill. Helpless, he took out the grade 8 Earth Essence pill and prepared to break through to the rank 3 Beast Illusionist realm. Yi Chunfeng ate a simple meal to fill his stomach. He took out the Earth Essence pill from his spatial bag and swallowed it. He then circulated the soul-devouring art to refine it. In order to lay a solid foundation, Yi Chunfeng, who was on the verge of a breakthrough, was not in a hurry to break through. Instead, he constantly suppressed his cultivation realm and waited for his soul power to overflow. Chapter 72. After a day, Yi Chunfeng, who had completely consolidated his cultivation base, ended his 25 days of bitter cultivation. Before he left, he intentionally glanced at the black-clothed lady who was sitting cross-legged in a dark corner. Her body was glowing with a faint green light. He was a little surprised by her strength. The Sky Fire Martial House is indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. I reckon that even if I use my half-step sword force, I still won't be her match. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and shifted his gaze away from the unfathomable black-clothed lady. He left the cave of gravity. Ji Qingxue. Why did she come to my place? Just as Yi Chunfeng was walking towards the small courtyard by the cliff, his sharp senses detected Ji Qingxue's aura outside his courtyard. Other than Ji Qingxue, there were 3 other unfamiliar auras. One of them was even a grade 6 beast illusionist. Ji Qingxue, don't expect Yi Chunfeng to stand up for you. He can't even protect himself now, so he can't help you. A tall, well-built man dressed in luxurious clothes with sunken eyes looked at the tall and charming Ji Qingxue with lecherous eyes and said with evil intentions, "Shangguan Fengyuan, don't do anything rash. Otherwise, I will complain to the disciplinary elder." Ji Qingxue warned with a pale face when she met the man's burning gaze. Complain? Complain about what? Shangguan Fengyuan revealed a sarcastic smile. I like you. Can't I pursue you? Will the disciplinary elder care about this? Ji Qingxue, I will give you a chance now. Be my woman and serve me well. I guarantee that no one will find trouble with you. You're shameless. I will never agree to it. Just give up on it. Ji Qingxue was so angry that her eyes turned red and her body trembled. However, Shangguan Fengyuan was a grade 6 beast illusionist and ranked 35th on the Sky Fire martial ranking. She was no match for him. Don't agree? Shangguan Fengyuan revealed a cold smile. Do you know the consequences of not agreeing? I really want to know what the consequences will be if she doesn't agree. Before Ji Qingxue could speak, a bone-chilling voice entered Shangguan Fengyuan's ears. Following the source of the voice, Shangguan Fengyuan saw Yi Chunfeng walking over step by step. Yi Chunfeng. Shangguan Yuan didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to have come out of seclusion. Feeling the oppressive aura from his body, Shangguan Yuan's pupils shrank and his face turned serious. Why are you mute? I'm asking you a question. Tell me, what are the consequences if she doesn't agree? Although Yi Chunfeng didn't want to have anything to do with Ji Qingxue, he wouldn't stand by and watch Ji Qingxue get bullied. Moreover, he had a feeling that Ji Qingxue was being bullied because of him. Yi Chunfeng, don't think that you can look down on others just because you're on the Heaven Fire martial ranking. Let me tell you, I really don't think much of you. I don't take you seriously either. Yi Chunfeng sneered. Light flashed beneath his feet as he suddenly launched an attack at Shangguan Yuan. When he was 3 meters away from Shangguan Yuanqing, Yi Chunfeng's entire body erupted with strength. All of his 25,000 gene of strength was channeled into his fist as he punched at Shangguan Yuanqing's chest. Shangguan Yuan didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so bold as to disregard the rules and attack in public. He hurriedly covered his chest with his palms to defend against Yi Chunfeng's punch. Boom! When the fist and palm collided, a terrifying force exploded. The powerful force caused Shangguan Yuan's arms to go numb. His blood and qi were in turmoil as his body uncontrollably retreated. Yi Qinfeng, you're crazy. Do you know the consequences of disregarding the rules and attacking in public? Shangguan Yuanyuan quickly circulated the soul art to dispel the numbness in his arms as he roared loudly. Soul-shaking finger, soul-breaking. Yi Qinfeng ignored Shangguan Yuanyuan's warning. He gently pointed with his index finger, stirring up ripples of energy. A foot-long finger light twisted in the air like an electric snake and shot towards Shangguan Yuanyuan. Yi Qinfeng, stop. If you don't stop now, don't blame me for being impolite. Shangguan Yuanyuan used 8 steps, overtaking Cicada to dodge the soul-breaking finger and cursed angrily out of humiliation. As for his 2 companions, they didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to suddenly attack and were momentarily stunned. Transference Phantom. The moment Shangguan Yuanyuan dodged, Yi Qinfeng's body flashed and appeared in front of Shangguan Yuanyuan in a stride, continuing to attack him. Yi Qinfeng, since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Shangguan Yuanyuan was enraged by Yi Qinfeng's aggressive attacks. The phantom of a black bear appeared on his body. After fusing with his spiritual beast, the black bear, Shangguan Yuanyuan's strength rose steadily. Billowing soul power fused into his right leg. Soaring firmament kick. Shangguan Yuanyuan swept through the air and kicked out a sharp leg shadow with a terrifying momentum. It shattered layers of air and brought along a powerful airflow as it kicked towards Yi Qinfeng. 40,000 kilograms of strength, break. Facing Shangguan Yuanyuan's soul skill, Yi Qinfeng didn't dodge. He controlled the soul power in his body to fuse with his strength and exploded with 40,000 kilograms of strength to meet the attack. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out. Yi Qinfeng relied on his absolute strength to meet Shangguan Yuanyuan's mid-grade spirit rank soul skill, soaring firmament kick. A powerful rebound force spread rapidly with the 2 of them as the center, causing Ji Qingxue and the other 2 to retreat. Seeing Yi Qinfeng block the soaring firmament kick with his bare hands, Shangguan Yuanyuan's heart was in turmoil. As an expert ranked 35th on the Heavenly Fire martial ranking, Shangguan Yuanyuan was very confident in his own strength. He couldn't believe that Yi Qinfeng had the strength to fight against him in less than a month. Just as he was in shock, he suddenly realized that Yi Qinfeng had disappeared in front of his eyes. In the next moment, he felt danger behind him. He instinctively wanted to dodge and take out his spiritual weapon, but the moment he dodged, he felt a strong hand clamp down on his neck. A terrifying force instantly suppressed his resistance and pulled his entire body up like pulling a carrot. With a back throw, he was ruthlessly smashed into the ground, smashing a large crater in the ground. While Shangguan Yuanyuan was in a daze from the fall, he felt his ankle being grabbed by Yi Qinfeng and lifted up forcefully. As he screamed, his body was smashed into the ground again, and a large amount of blood flowed out of his body. Stop, stop. Shangguan Yuanyuan, who felt like his entire body was falling apart, was in extreme pain. He was scared and shouted in pain, "If you don't stop, I will definitely complain to the punishment elder." Complain? Yi Qinfeng sneered and said, "Today's matter started because of you. You were the one who started it first. I was just upholding justice. Do you think the punishment elder will believe your words?" Shangguan Yuanyuan, who was covered in blood, said angrily with a fierce glint in his eyes. "It doesn't matter if the punishment elder believes me or not. You have to remember that if this matter continues to be investigated, the unlucky one won't be me." Yi Qinfeng sneered and said, "Do you think the Heavenly Fire Martial House will punish me for a useless piece of trash like you?" Although Shangguan Yuanyuan wanted to refute, he knew that Yi Qinfeng was speaking the truth. With Yi Qinfeng's talent, which had alarmed the martial house master, he would be the unlucky one in the end. You win. Chapter 73. Qingfeng, thank you. Ji Qingxue was completely stunned by Yi Qinfeng's strength. She never thought that Yi Qinfeng would be able to defeat Shangguan Yuanqing, who was ranked 35th on the Heavenly Fire Marshal ranking, in just over a month after entering the Heavenly Fire Marshal house. At this moment, she felt a trace of regret in her heart. She regretted using Yi Chunfeng as a shield and hurting him. However, when she thought of Master Chun, who was the first person to touch her heart, the regret in her heart lessened by a lot. This is nothing. You don't have to take it to heart. If it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have targeted you. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said indifferently. Ji Qingxue looked at Yi Chunfeng's cold face and lightly bit her alluring red lip. Qingfeng, your grandfather, no, Patriarch Yi asked me to pass a message to you. He wants to see you and return something that belongs to you. Thank you. When I have time, I will make a trip to the Yi clan. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, Oh right, this is for you. Yi Chunfeng took out the remaining Juku spirit pill that was practically useless to him and gave it to Ji Qingxue. Qingfeng, this is too precious. I can't accept it. Seeing Yi Chunfeng give the Juku spirit pill to her, Ji Qingxue's eyes revealed a complicated expression as she declined. I can protect you for now, but I can't protect you forever. If you don't want to be bullied, you need to have strength. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng forcefully stuffed the Juku spirit pill into Ji Qingxue's soft hands and turned to return to his small courtyard. Yi Chunfeng, thank you. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's departing figure, Ji Qingxue's heart was filled with mixed feelings. She never thought that in the end, she would have to rely on Yi Chunfeng, who she had never placed in her eyes. With my current strength, I wonder if I can fight against a rank 1 earthly beast general if I use half-step sword force. In the battle with Shangguan Yuanqing just now, Yi Chunfeng had tested the results of his hard work. He had broken through to become a rank 3 beast illusionist and cultivated his viscera refining realm to 40%. He had the ability to defeat a normal rank 6 beast illusionist. And if he used half-step sword force, Yi Chunfeng felt that he should be able to fight against a level 1 Earth Beast General. However, whether or not he could defeat his opponent would still need to be tested in battle. At dusk, the afterglow of the setting sun shone upon the mountains and rivers, interweaving into a floating picture that was incomparably magnificent. After resting for several hours, Yi Chunfeng recovered to his best condition. He glanced at the dazzling sunset outside the window and muttered to himself, It's time to go back and take a look at the Yi family. Yi Chunfeng didn't have any feelings for the Yi family, but he had deep feelings for his foster father, Yi Chunfeng. If Yi Xuanxiang hadn't taken him in when he was young and raised him, there wouldn't be the current Yi Chunfeng. With regards to Yi Xuanxiang's sudden death, Yi Chunfeng had always been suspicious. This time, when he returned to the Yi family, he would definitely find out the truth and take revenge for his foster father, whom he was indebted to. Elder Lu, I would like to return to Zijin Imperial City. I wonder if I can borrow a green-winged dove? Yi Chunfeng stepped on the sunset and found Elder Lu, asking to borrow a green-winged dove. Of course, Elder Lu agreed without hesitation. After seeing Yi Chunfeng's monstrous talent, Elder Lu valued him even more. He completely believed that as long as Yi Chunfeng was given enough time and space, he would soar to the heavens. Thank you, Elder Lu, Yi Chunfeng gratefully said. With the help of Elder Lu, they managed to borrow an azure-winged dove with a wingspan of over 10 meters and feathers that were a shade of azure. They left the Heavenly Fire Marshal House, crossed the boundless purple cloud mountain range, and flew back to the outskirts of the violet gold Imperial City. Wait for me here. After Yi Chunfeng gave the order to the highly intelligent green-winged dove, he returned to Zijin Imperial City alone and walked towards the Yi family residence. Strolling along the spacious streets of Zijin Imperial City, looking at the luxurious buildings on both sides of the street, and the young women who were laughing and playing with each other, Yi Chunfeng's heart was as calm as still water. After embarking on the path of cultivation, Yi Chunfeng no longer felt much about the colorful world of the secular world. The only thing he yearned for now was to cultivate against the heavens and break through the void. I'm here. About an hour later, Yi Chunfeng passed through the night and arrived at the brightly lit Yi family residence. Looking at the residence in his memory, Yi Chunfeng recalled some memories. Please help me pass on the message that Yi Chunfeng has come to keep the appointment. Yi Chunfeng stood outside the grand entrance of the Yi family residence and said in a deep voice, "Young master, you're back." Hearing the guard's report, the old housekeeper immediately walked out of the residence and said excitedly, "You called the wrong person. I'm no longer a member of the Yi family." Yi Chunfeng said without a trace of emotion and walked into the familiar yet strange Yi family residence. "Chingfeng, you're finally back." Yi Chunfeng had just walked into the lush green front yard when the Yi family head, Yi Qingchuan, hurriedly walked out with a group of Yi family disciples to welcome him. Looking at the familiar faces, Yi Chunfeng didn't feel a trace of excitement in his heart. Among these people, other than Yi Qingchuan and Yi Xiling who treated him slightly better, the others had never treated him as a member of the Yi family. "Yi family head, I heard from Ji Qingxue that you want to give me something." Yi Chunfeng looked at Yi Qingchuan calmly and asked indifferently, "Yes, Chingfeng, let's talk in my study." Hearing Yi Chunfeng's address and seeing his cold eyes, Yi Qingchuan smiled bitterly. However, he didn't blame Yi Chunfeng. After all, he was the one who expelled him from the Yi family when he was at his most difficult time. It was reasonable for him to not recognize the Yi family. "Okay." Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Yi Qingchuan to his study. "Qingfeng, expelling you from the Yi family is the one thing I regret the most in my life. I apologize to you. For the sake of your adoptive father, I wonder if you're still willing to come back?" Yi Qingchuan personally poured a cup of tea for Yi Chunfeng and looked at his chiseled face as he asked softly, "Yi family head, let bygones be bygones. I'm now wholeheartedly cultivating and don't want to be affected by worldly matters." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and tactfully refused. "Sigh, actually, I've already thought of the ending, but I'm still a little unwilling to give up," Yi Qingchuan said with a bitter smile. "Chunfeng, the thing in this jade case was found by your adoptive father on your body when he found you. It might be related to your birth. Right now, it's returned to its rightful owner," Yi Qingchuan said as he took out a jade case from his bosom and handed it to Yi Chunfeng. "Yes." Hearing Yi Qingchuan's words, Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and immediately opened the jade box. He found a piece of dark golden wood that was about 1 inch long and had a smooth surface without any patterns lying in silence. Taking out this piece of dark golden wood, Yi Chunfeng suddenly felt a blood connection. He hesitated for a moment, then bit his finger and pressed it on the dark golden wood. Immediately, Yi Chunfeng felt a strong suction force coming from the wood, greedily absorbing his blood. When a strand of golden blood that was hard to detect fused into the dark golden wood, suddenly, a golden light shone out. 7 words faintly appeared on the wood. Eastern Continent, Abyss of Hell. Chapter 74. Patriarchy, thank you for returning it to me. Yi Chunfeng gently stroked the dark golden wood. He felt as if it was a piece of his flesh, connected to his blood vessels and inseparable. "Qingfeng, I'm not afraid of you laughing at me. I studied this piece of wood for 3 years, but I couldn't find anything special about it. But in your hands it could produce such a strange phenomenon. It shows that your background is not simple. Now that it has returned to its rightful owner, I hope you don't blame me for only returning it to you now." Looking at the golden words that appeared on the dark golden wood, Yi Qingchuan shook his head and sighed. "I'm already very grateful that you can return it to me," Yi Chunfeng lightly said. "That's right, Patriarch Yi, I came to the Yi clan this time because I have an important matter to ask you. Do you want to know the cause of your adoptive father's death?" Yi Qingchuan asked. "Yes, I want to know how my adoptive father died." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said, "I don't believe that he would suddenly die. Sigh, regarding your adoptive father's death, my Yi clan has done a lot of investigation. We also performed an autopsy on his body and suspect that he might have died from poison. Yi Qingchuan sighed softly. Poison? Yi Qinfeng's face sank and his eyes shot out a sharp look. Patriarch Yi, I wonder what kind of poison my adoptive father was poisoned with. Do you have any suspects? This is only our speculation. We can't confirm whether he was really poisoned or not. As for the suspects, there are many, but we don't have any concrete evidence. Yi Qingchuan shook his head and said, Patriarch Yi, I wonder who you suspect the most? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and asked. The Jiang clan. Yi Qingchuan said. The Jiang clan. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrank and he whispered, Patriarch Yi, I understand. It's getting late, I'll go back first. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng thoughtfully turned around and left without any hesitation. The night was getting darker. Yi Chunfeng rode the green-winged dove back to the Sky Fire Marshal House and fell into deep contemplation. Although it was possible that Yi Qingchuan had used someone else to do the dirty work, Yi Chunfeng felt that the Jiang family was the biggest suspect. Jiang clan, you better pray that you have nothing to do with my adoptive father's death. If not, I will make you pay with your own blood, and make your Jiang clan disappear from the Zijin kingdom. Yi Qinfeng's eyes were filled with viciousness as he spoke with killing intent. Patriarch, according to reliable sources, Yi Qinfeng returned to the Yi family tonight, stayed for more than an hour, and then left. Not long after Yi Qinfeng left the Yi residence, the Jiang family received the news and immediately reported it to the Jiang family patriarch, Jiang Zhongxiong. Why did he come back? Jiang Zhongxiong frowned and muttered to himself. Father, do you think the Yi family wants to pull Yi Qinfeng back? Jiang Yijuan's father, Jiang Xiu, guessed. At this time, Yi Qingchuan definitely wants to pull Yi Qinfeng back to the Yi family. With him in charge, even if the throne changes hands, the Yi family will not be affected much. However, will Yi Qinfeng be willing to go back? What bargaining chips does the Yi family have? Jiang Zhongxiong's finger lightly tapped the table as he fell into deep thought. Xiu, don't make a move against the Yi family and the Ji family for now. Let's wait for the first prince to take control of the situation and become the successor to the throne. Jiang Zhongxiong said gloomily. Also, contact Yijuan and ask him to work hard in his cultivation. When the time is right, we will eliminate Yi Qinfeng at all costs. Yes, father. I will contact Yijuan now. Jiang Xiu nodded. Jiang Zhongxiong placed all his hopes on Jiang Yijuan, but he did not know that Jiang Yijuan had already suffered a great loss at the hands of Yi Qinfeng. Early in the morning, rays of gentle sunlight shone in through the glass, waking up Yi Qinfeng from his cultivation. After waking up, Yi Qinfeng ate a simple meal and took out the dark golden wood that was closely related to his life. What kind of wood is this? Why is it connected to my bloodline? Yi Qinfeng carefully sized up the dark golden wood and released his soul power to penetrate it. My soul power can't penetrate it? No matter how Yi Qinfeng tried, the soul power in his mind could not penetrate the dark golden wood. His soul power could not penetrate it. Yi Qinfeng pondered for a moment, then bit his finger and pressed it on the dark golden wood. He tried to use his blood to communicate with it. Suction. This time, Yi Qinfeng clearly felt that the dark golden wood produced a suction force that continuously sucked the blood in his body into the wood. As the dark golden wood devoured more and more blood, the connection between them became closer and closer. However, after losing a large amount of blood, Yi Qinfeng felt a little dizzy. If not for the fact that the blood in his body was like smoke, he would not have been able to withstand the dark golden wood's devouring. After about half an hour, the dark golden wood suddenly shone with a dazzling golden light and merged into Yi Qinfeng's body. In the next moment, the soul-devouring brain reacted to it, and the truth of this dark golden wood gradually appeared in his mind. The Chaos Divine Wood was one of the 3 mystical trees in the world. It contained the power of chaos, and the tree could devour all kinds of energy. A mature Chaos Divine wood was 10,000 feet tall, and when it swayed, it could shatter heaven and earth, destroy stars, and even destroy a low-level plane. According to the analysis of the soul-devouring brain, the inch of Chaos Divine wood that Yi Chunfeng had obtained was a sapling of the Chaos Divine wood. It was a first-rate treasure in the world. If news of it spread outside, it would shake the entire Duhan continent and cause the oldest sects in the Duhan continent to fight over it. What exactly is my background? How can an abandoned child like me have such a rare treasure? Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that his background was not simple. After learning about the origins of the Chaos Divine wood, Yi Chunfeng calmed his heart and tried to refine the sapling. If he could fuse the sapling into his body, then he would have the opportunity to comprehend the most mysterious power in the world, the power of chaos that surpassed the 5 elements, and establish the most solid foundation. Although Yi Chunfeng had a good idea, the moment the young primal chaos would enter his body, it did not react at all. No matter what method Yi Chunfeng used, he was unable to communicate with the young primal chaos wood, much less refine it. Sigh, it seems that my current strength is not enough to refine the sapling. After trying to no avail, Yi Chunfeng sighed helplessly and gave up. However, he was not discouraged. He believed that one day, he would be able to refine the sapling, which was closely related to him, and comprehend the most mysterious power of chaos in the world. Strength, I have to increase my strength as soon as possible. Although Yi Chunfeng had broken the Sky Fire Martial House's records time and again and had the strength to contend with a Grade 1 Earth Beast General, he knew that this was far from enough. He had to use the Martial House's resources to continue cultivating. However, after cultivating in the Gravity Cavern's 7th layer space for 25 days, Yi Chunfeng had consumed a large number of low-grade soul crystals. Now, he had less than 300 low-grade soul crystals, which was not enough for his high consumption. Chapter 75. Walking into the quaint mission tower, Yi Chunfeng saw that there were over 100 coiled dragon pillars in the spacious mission tower. On each pillar there were jade slips of different colors. Inside the jade slips were the bounty missions. According to the difficulty, the missions in the mission tower were divided into inner and outer sect missions. Inner sect missions were missions offered by the Sky Fire Martial House. The difficulty was slightly lower, but the rewards were also relatively lower. Outer sect missions were missions offered by the outside world. Usually they would be offered in many places. The difficulty was higher, but the rewards were higher. According to the difficulty of the mission, it was further divided into 3 grades: bronze, silver, and gold. For example, gold missions, although the rewards were very generous, the difficulty was also unusually high. Usually, only Earth Beast General disciples dared to accept them. At this moment, in the mission tower, most of the disciples were surrounding the silver missions. They were releasing their soul power into the jade slips to choose a mission that suited them. Beside the gold missions, there were only 3 or 4 disciples. All of them had reached the level of a first-grade Earth Beast General. The Sky Fire Martial House is indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. There are actually so many people who have reached the level of an Earth Beast General. Sensing the strength of these people, Yi Chunfeng was slightly surprised. After all, among the 3 great clans of the kingdom of Zijin, only the Jiang clan had a first-grade Earth Beast General. Neither the Yi clan nor the Ji clan had anyone who had broken through to the Earth Beast General realm. With my current strength, it will be slightly difficult to accept a gold mission. However, the rewards of a silver mission are too low. It won't be able to satisfy my needs. Yi Chunfeng was vexed as he thought. After hesitating for a while, he walked towards the gold mission area and chose a mission. Kill a 4th-grade fire pattern tiger and bring back its beast core. Reward: 2,000 low-grade soul crystals. Kill a 3-tailed spirit fox in the black clay swamp and bring back its tail. Reward: 2,500 low-grade soul crystals, kill a 4th-grade Earth Beast General Expert, Emoku, who was abandoned by the Sky Fire sect, and bring back his head. Reward: 8,000 low-grade soul crystals, slaughter a 1st-grade sect, Black Mountain sect, and bring back the heads of 3 sect leaders. Reward: 30,000 low-grade soul crystals. The difficulty of this outer sect mission is indeed much higher than the inner sect mission. Annihilating a 1st-grade sect. I wonder if there is anyone in the Sky Fire Martial House who can complete such a difficult mission? After entering the Heavenly Fire Martial House, Yi Chunfeng gained a better understanding of the illusory sects of the Fighting Spirit continent. Generally speaking, a force with a rank 5 Earth Beast General could be considered a 1st-grade sect. As for the gold rank mission, there was actually a mission to exterminate a rank 1 sect. This made Yi Chunfeng suck in a breath of cold air. He was shocked at the difficulty of this mission. Yes, go to the Cemetery of Death to pick Zoishes. Each stalk of Zoishes can be exchanged for 1,000 low-grade soul crystals. Moreover, it's a mission completed by 2 people working together. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to give up on the extremely difficult gold rank mission, he unexpectedly discovered a gold rank mission that piqued his interest. More importantly, this mission had already been accepted by someone. As long as he accepted it, he could immediately set off for the Cemetery of Death. I'll choose this. Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment before reaching out to take the jade slip. He then headed to the Elder's office to register the mission. Coincidentally, he met the Elder on duty at the mission tower, Elder Yu, who had a grudge with him. Cemetery of Death mission. The gray-robed Elder Yu looked at the jade slip that Yi Chunfeng handed over. His turbid eyes flashed and he revealed a thought-provoking smile. Yi Chunfeng, your courage is commendable. You dare to accept a gold rank mission as a rank 3 beast illusionist. Not bad. Seeing the smile on Elder Yu's face, Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. He felt a trace of suspicion. Could there be some unknown danger in the Cemetery of Death? Elder Yu, I wonder who the other person who accepted the Cemetery of Death mission is? You don't have to worry about the other person's strength. Her name is Lin Kazhu and she is ranked 9th on the Heavenly Fire Martial ranking. She is known as the number 1 rank 1 Earth Beast General in the Heavenly Fire Martial House. Elder Yu slowly said. Number 1 rank 1 Earth Beast General. After knowing the other person's identity, Yi Chunfeng felt a little relieved. With Lin Kazhu's strength and talent, the Heavenly Fire Martial House would not let anything happen to her. Although Yi Chunfeng's cultivation was low, he still had many life-saving trump cards. Alright, the mission has been registered. Go wait at the entrance of the Martial House tomorrow morning. There will be a green-winged dove there to bring you to the Cemetery of Death. Elder Yu gave the mission jade slip back to Yi Chunfeng and instructed. Yi Chunfeng nodded his head and kept the mission jade slip in his Qiankuan bag. He turned around and left. Yi Chunfeng, do you really think that the Cemetery of Death mission is simple? That is a place where people are eaten. With your strength, you will definitely die. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's departing figure, the corners of Elder Yu's mouth curled up, revealing a cold smile. The first rays of the morning sun shone brightly in the east. The dark veil of the deep sky was shaken off. Early in the morning, Yi Chunfeng stepped on the gentle sunlight and arrived at the entrance of the Heavenly Fire Martial House. From afar, he saw Lin Kazhu, who was wearing a tight-fitting black outfit. Her figure was tall and graceful, and her long green hair draped over her shoulders. She was standing there waiting for him. Although Lin Kazhu's appearance was not as devastatingly beautiful as Ji Qingshue's, her cold and elegant temperament was also extremely charming. Sorry, I'm late. Yi Chunfeng walked in front of the cold and elegant Lin Kazhu and said apologetically. You're the one who accepted the Cemetery of Death mission? Sensing that Yi Chunfeng was only a rank 3 beast illusionist, Lin Kazhu's eyebrows tightly knitted together and her expression became somewhat ugly. Looking at Lin Kazhu's cold expression, Yi Chunfeng nodded his head. With your rank 3 beast illusionist cultivation, you dare to accept the Cemetery of Death mission? Do you not want your life any more? Lin Kazhu bluntly criticized. Why? Is the Cemetery of Death very dangerous? Yi Chunfeng asked. It's extremely dangerous. Not to mention you, even I have the possibility of dying if I enter the Cemetery of Death. I advise you to give up on this mission. Furthermore, I don't want to team up with you to enter the Cemetery of Death. Lin Kazhu coldly rejected. Kazhu, don't underestimate him. He's the most famous person in the Heavenly Fire Martial House recently. He's known as a rare genius in the Martial House. Just as Lin Kazhu rejected Yi Chunfeng, Elder Yu slowly walked over and said, You're Yi Chunfeng. Hearing Elder Yu's words, Lin Kazhu immediately guessed his identity. Her cold expression eased a little. Elder Yu was afraid that Yi Chunfeng would give up and lose the best opportunity to eliminate him, so he urged, All right, don't waste any more time. The Cemetery of Death may seem dangerous, but as long as you're careful and cooperate with each other, you'll be able to pluck the Een Zoisha and return safely. You've really decided to enter the Cemetery of Death? Lin Kazhu looked at Yi Chunfeng with a burning gaze and asked solemnly. I believe that I'll be able to return safely from the Cemetery of Death. Yi Chunfeng nodded his head and said confidently, All right, let's go. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's confident appearance, Lin Kazhu didn't say anything else. She jumped onto the green-winged dove with Yi Chunfeng and left the Heavenly Fire Martial House. Goodbye, Yi Chunfeng. Chapter 76. The Death Cemetery is just ahead. The green-winged dove flew for more than 10 hours and arrived above the Death Cemetery in the evening. What a dense death aura! Yi Chunfeng stood on the green-winged dove and looked into the distance. He discovered that the entire Death Cemetery was shrouded in a dense death aura, making it impossible to see its appearance with the naked eye. Creepy ghostly cries could be heard coming from the depths of the cemetery. It was eerie and terrifying. It's late now, so it's not suitable to enter the Death Cemetery. Let's rest at the edge of the Death Cemetery for the night. Tomorrow morning, we'll enter the cemetery to search for the Een mushroom. Lin Kazhu suggested after the green-winged dove landed. All right. Yi Chunfeng nodded and agreed. Screech, just as Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu found a place to rest at the edge of the Death Cemetery and started a bonfire to rest, an ear-piercing bird cry entered their ears. Through the gradually darkening sky, Yi Chunfeng saw a golden eagle that was larger than the green-winged dove. It flapped its huge wings and flew towards them like a beam of golden light. It's someone from the Thunder Mountain Martial House. I didn't expect someone from them to accept the Death Cemetery mission. Looking at the rapidly approaching golden eagle, Lin Kazhu frowned and coldly said. She obviously didn't have a good impression of the Thunder Mountain Martial House disciples. Senior Sister Lin, how strong is the Thunder Mountain Martial House? Yi Chunfeng asked as he had just entered the Sky Fire Martial House and was unfamiliar with the other martial houses. The area we are in is called the Northern Snow Region. It's located in the northwestern part of the northern continent. There are 3 third-grade sects in the Northern Snow Region. They are the Sky Fire sect, the Thunderbird Mountain, and the Storm Valley. Among them, the Storm Valley is the strongest. They are the undisputed overlord of the Northern Snow Region. The Storm Martial House they established is also the most terrifying of the 3. The Thunderbird Mountain and the Sky Fire sect are similar in strength. Our Sky Fire Martial House and the Thunder Mountain Martial House are also similar in strength. However, due to competition, the relationship between the 3 great martial houses is not harmonious. Therefore, you must be on guard against their schemes. With your strength, it is very likely that they will launch a sneak attack on you. Lin Kazhu solemnly warned. Don't worry, senior sister. I will be careful. Yi Chunfeng nodded. As he spoke, the golden eagle landed at the edge of the Cemetery of Death. Then, 2 young men in dark blue robes leaped down from the golden eagle. They had extraordinary bearings, and their faces were full of arrogance. Yen Yu, Song-Chi, it's actually the two of them. Looking at the two Thunder Mountain Martial House disciples who appeared at the edge of the cemetery of death, Lin Keju's pupils shrank as a trace of seriousness appeared on her face. Senior Sister Lin, do you know the two of them? Seeing the slight change in Lin Keju's expression, Yi Chunfeng asked. During the exchange between our two great martial houses, I once exchanged blows with Yen Yu. At that time, I barely won against him. However, his strength is very astonishing. I'm afraid that he is even stronger than Shen Tuheng. As for Song-Chi, he is slightly weaker than Yen Yu. However, he has also broken through to the rank 1 Earth Beast General realm. If they join forces, you and I will definitely not be a match for them. Lin Keju nodded and said in a heavy tone. She was somewhat regretting letting Yi Chunfeng come. Lin Keju discovered the two of them. Yen Yu and Song-Chi also discovered Lin Keju at the first moment. Looking at Lin Keju's hot figure and exquisite face, Yen Yu's eyes revealed a trace of ruthlessness as he thought of the humiliation she brought to him. However, Yen Yu and Song-Chi still had some misgivings about Lin Keju's strength. However, when they discovered that Yi Chunfeng was a rank 3 Beast Illusion Master, they were stunned for a moment. Immediately after, they revealed malicious expressions and slowly walked over. Lin Keju, I didn't expect to meet you here. However, why did you bring a piece of trash with you? He can't be a gigolo that you're keeping, right? Yen Yu's gaze burned as he looked at Lin Keju's enchanting body and deliberately provoked her. Yen Yu, you better clean your mouth. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Lin Keju had already expected that Yen Yu and Song-Chi would come to provoke them after discovering Yi Chunfeng's strength. Her face sank as she coldly warned them. Haha, won't be polite? How are you going to be rude to us? Do you think you're a match for us two brothers? Song-Chi arrogantly laughed. He didn't put Yi Chunfeng in his eyes at all. You guys can try. Lin Keju's expression darkened as a powerful wave of soul force erupted from her body. A fiery red python that was dozens of meters long and covered in fiery runes vaguely appeared from her body. The reason why Lin Keju strongly counterattacked was because she knew that blindly retreating would only make Yen Yu and Song-Chi even more arrogant. Therefore, she wanted to use her strength to intimidate them. Let me. Without waiting for Lin Keju to make a move, an ear-piercing sword cry rang out from Yi Chunfeng's body. In the next moment, the Scarlet Heaven sword appeared in Yi Chunfeng's hand. A sword ray containing half-step sword force shot out like a bolt of lightning, cutting through layers of air. It carried an astonishing sharpness as it attacked the two of them. What? Sensing the terror of half-step sword force, Yen Yu and Song-Chi, whose attention was completely on Lin Keju, felt their hearts tremble. They instinctively wanted to dodge. However, Yi Chunfeng's sword was too sudden and too fast. In the blink of an eye, it struck their bodies. The sword broke through their defenses and left a deep sword wound on their chests. A large amount of blood flowed out. Feeling the pain in their chests, Yen Yu and Song-Chi's expressions changed greatly. They couldn't imagine that Yi Chunfeng, who was a rank 3 Beast Illusion Master, could injure them. Yen Yu and Song-Chi were shocked by Yi Chunfeng's attack power. Lin Keju also revealed a shocked expression. The way she looked at Yi Chunfeng changed greatly. Courting death. Feeling the burning pain in their chests, Yen Yu and Song-Chi were enraged. Two terrifying soul beasts emerged from their bodies and their powerful auras locked onto Yi Chunfeng and Song-Chi. Let's go. Although Yi Chunfeng's attack power exceeded Lin Keju's expectations, she still didn't believe that Yi Chunfeng could contend against a rank 1 Earth Beast General. Seeing that Yen Yu and Song-Chi had fused with each other's soul beasts, she decisively grabbed Yi Chunfeng's hand and fled towards the eerie cemetery of death. Where do you think you're going? Yen Yu and Song-Chi, who had both fused with their soul beasts and reached their peak strength, roared. They used their speed soul skills, wanting to stop the two of them. Fire Shadow Blade Mountain. As Yen Yu and Song Qi closed the distance between them, Lin Keju's body erupted with scorching soul power. It transformed into a gigantic saber mountain that carried a formidable destructive power. With a single slash, it forced Yen Yu and Song Qi to retreat. Blade Mountain, this Lin Keju actually cultivated the high-grade spirit rank soul skill, Fire Shadow Blade Mountain, to the large success stage. After being forced back by the Fire Shadow Blade Mountain, Yen Yu and Song Qi's expressions changed slightly. They hesitated for a moment and allowed Yi Chunfeng and Lin Keju to pull away. Go. Chapter 77. Actually, if we didn't run just now, they wouldn't have been able to do anything to us. After entering the sinister and horrifying cemetery of death, Yi Chunfeng smiled bitterly as he looked at the densely packed graves and the piles of white bones scattered around them. Yi Chunfeng, even if your attack power is shocking, the difference between a beast illusionist and an earth beast general is too great. You can't rely on pure attack power to make up for it. Lin Keju still didn't believe in Yi Chunfeng's strength. Maybe. Yi Chunfeng rubbed his nose and didn't argue anymore. He followed behind Lin Keju and looked for a temporary place to rest. All right, let's rest here tonight. Lin Keju found a relatively high slope in the cemetery of death that didn't have any grave. She jumped onto it with Yi Chunfeng and waited for dawn to arrive. Senior sister, do you feel that the soul power in your body is flowing slower? Just as Yi Chunfeng was sitting cross-legged on the slope and silently meditating, he suddenly felt that his soul force was being suppressed by a mysterious power. The soul force in his body suddenly slowed down, and he hurriedly asked Lin Keju. Yes, my soul power is also being suppressed. It seems that the rumors are true. The scariest thing about the cemetery of death isn't the mysterious ghosts in the cemetery, but the yin qi in the cemetery. It can suppress the soul power in our bodies and limit our strength, preventing us from using our full strength. Lin Keju nodded her head and spoke with a serious expression. After receiving confirmation, Yi Chunfeng's eyes immediately lit up. Although his soul power was being suppressed, his physical strength wasn't. If everyone's soul power was being suppressed by the yin energy in the cemetery of death, then he would be able to use his physical strength to the maximum. When he met Yen Yu and Song Qi again, he would be able to use this advantage to take revenge. As the night deepened, the ear-piercing cries of ghosts could be heard. Streaks of green ghost fire were like meteors that streaked across the depths of the cemetery of death, causing people to tremble in fear. Someone's here? Just as Yi Chunfeng was sitting cross-legged on the slope and silently meditating, his sharp senses suddenly detected a very concealed soul power streaking across his body. He immediately became alert. What's wrong? Did something happen? Feeling the soul power surge in Yi Chunfeng's body, Lin Keju, who was meditating, suddenly opened her eyes and vigilantly asked. I just felt that someone was secretly spying on us. A sharp gaze shot out from Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes as he looked through the dark night sky and dense yin energy and said in a serious tone. Are you sure? How come I didn't feel anything? Lin Keju said suspiciously with a frown. She did not believe that her spiritual perception was inferior to Yi Chunfeng's. Something's coming. Yi Chunfeng's pupils shrank. He stood up abruptly and took out the Scarlet Heaven sword from his cosmos sack. Screech! Just as Yi Chunfeng finished speaking, a series of bone-chilling cries of ghosts rang out. Hundreds of legless ghosts floated in the air like the wind. Their facial features were blurry, and their bodies were one with the night sky. They howled as they attacked the two of them. So many specters. Lin Keju didn't have time to ponder why so many specters suddenly appeared. She quickly took out the mid-grade spirit artifact, Fire Crystal Battle Blade, from her Qianquan bag and shouted, Yi Chunfeng, let's rush out. Alright. Yi Chunfeng nodded. A powerful force of qi and blood burst out from his body. A light flashed under his feet, and he charged into the group of ghosts like a bolt of lightning. The scarlet heaven sword in his hand slashed out a sharp sword light, directly splitting two ghosts that got close to him in half. Undead? Yi Chunfeng discovered that the two specters that were split by the scarlet heaven sword were actually showing signs of reforming their soul bodies. He revealed a trace of astonishment. Yi Chunfeng, these specters can borrow the death aura in the cemetery of death to reform their bodies. Normal attacks won't be able to kill them. We have to completely exterminate them. Lin Kazhu, who had a fire python's phantom on her body and was releasing a torrential fire aura, reminded him loudly. Got it. Yi Chunfeng nodded and kept the scarlet heaven sword in his Qiankuan bag. He circulated the 6 meridians divine shield and rapidly increased his physical strength. In the blink of an eye, Yi Chunfeng's physical strength had increased to 25,000 jin. The rich blood qi was like a smoke signal as it surged in his body. Pring pring pung, faced with Yi Chunfeng's fists that were filled with blood qi energy, the specters exploded one after another without any suspense, turning into clouds of yin qi. As expected, the blood qi energy in my body is the nemesis of these specters. Yi Chunfeng was overjoyed that his blood qi attack was effective. He was like an invincible god of war as he continuously blasted out fist radiance that surged with qi energy. He cooperated with Lin Kazhu to break out of the encirclement. What a powerful strength! Witnessing Yi Chunfeng's astonishing speed in exterminating the specters and feeling the continuous burst of physical strength in his body, Lin Kazhu, who was not far from him, had a slight change in her expression. She realized that she had underestimated Yi Chunfeng. It was definitely not luck that he could repeatedly break the Sky Fire Martial House's record. Screech! Just as the two of them were about to break out of the encirclement, an ear-piercing cry of a ghost suddenly entered their ears. A 3-meter-tall ghost surrounded by dense yin qi and with exceptionally clear facial features stood in front of the two of them, blocking their path. Spectre King. Why would a Spectre King that is comparable to a Grade 1 earthly beast general appear in the periphery of the cemetery of death? Lin Kazhu felt that the appearance of these specters was very strange. A powerful spectre like the Spectre King would normally only appear in the central region of the cemetery of death, and would rarely appear in the periphery of the cemetery of death. Could it be that there was really someone who attracted the Spectre King and these specters here? A ridiculous thought popped up in Lin Kazhu's mind. Half-step sword force. While Lin Kazhu was hesitating, the scarlet heaven sword turned into a scarlet ray of light and appeared in Yi Chunfeng's hand. A powerful sword force gushed out from his body and gathered in the scarlet heaven sword, forming a sharp sword ray. With a shocking momentum, the sword ray slashed towards the Spectre King who was blocking their path. Although the Spectre King's strength was far superior to Yi Chunfeng's, he was only a soul and his defense was his greatest weakness. When the sword ray that contained the half-step sword force struck him, the Spectre King's body was immediately split apart. The half-step sword force within the sword ray continuously crushed his soul, not giving him the chance to absorb the yin qi to recover his soul. Witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng splitting the Spectre King in half, Lin Kazhu's heart trembled. She finally believed that Yi Chunfeng had the strength to fight against a Grade 1 earthly beast general. Let's go. Let's leave this place first. Yi Chunfeng shouted as he and Lin Kazhu rushed through the dense yin qi and headed towards the northwest. Chapter 78. Early in the morning, a soft light purple and white appeared in the east. The eerie and terrifying cemetery of death gradually regained its tranquility at dawn. A large number of ghosts entered the ground and disappeared. It's finally daybreak. After fighting for half the night and exhausting a large amount of soul power, Yi Chunfeng and Lin Zhizhu let out a long sigh of relief. They found an ancient tree that had long withered and jumped onto it to recover. Roughly an hour later, Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu recovered their exhausted soul force and stamina, and woke up after adjusting their breathing. Yi Chunfeng, are you not affected by the yin energy in the cemetery of death? Lin Kazhu asked curiously when she thought of how Yi Chunfeng fought more and more fiercely last night without any signs of his soul power being suppressed. The soul power in my body is suppressed by the Yin energy in the cemetery of death. However, I was born with divine strength and my physical strength made up for the deficiency. Therefore, the Yin energy in the cemetery of death has a limited effect on me. Yi Chunfeng said vaguely, unwilling to reveal his body-tempering inheritance. Do you have the bloodline of a divine beast? Lin Kazhu's eyebrows slightly raised, revealing a surprised expression as she asked curiously. There were some gifted people in the Duhan continent who were born with a golden spoon in their mouth. They had the bloodline of a divine beast hidden in their bodies. Once the divine beast bloodline awakened, they would possess talent and strength that surpassed ordinary people. These people were collectively known as the proud sons of heaven in the Duhan continent. No, it would be great if I had the bloodline of a divine beast. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said with a wry smile. Forget it, I won't ask you any more. Thinking that everyone had their own secrets, Lin Kazhu didn't ask any further. She stood up from the withered tree and looked at the cemetery of death that was strewn with corpses. She said, "All right, it's daybreak. Let's quickly find the Yin Ganoderma and leave this damned place as soon as possible." Okay. Yi Chunfeng nodded and jumped down from the withered tree with Lin Kazhu. They quickly moved towards the depths of the cemetery of death. The Yin Ganoderma was a spirit item formed by the accumulation of the Yin Qi of death. It usually grew in places where the Yin Qi was the densest. Yi Chunfeng and Yi Qingtang constantly searched for the whereabouts of the Yin Ganoderma according to the changes in the Yin Qi in the air. The two of them searched for more than 2 hours. In the depths of the cemetery of death, they found a group of tombs with dense Yin energy. In the center of the group of tombs, there was a huge stone coffin that was more than 3 meters tall. Its surface was engraved with dark patterns. 2 fist-sized, bone-white Yin Ganoderma grew in a corner of the coffin. They looked like mushrooms. After discovering the 2 Yin Ganoderma seeds, Yi Chunfeng and the other did not immediately go forward to pick them. This was because they sensed an aura that made their hearts palpitate from within the sarcophagus. What a terrifying aura! Inside this stone coffin should be a rank 3 Earth Beast General Corpse King. Lin Kazhu said with a serious expression. Wait for me here. I'm going to pick those 2 Yin Ganodermas. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and said, No, it's too dangerous. Let me go. Lin Kazhu shook her head and refused. Trust me. I won't joke around with my life. If there's really danger, remember to come to my rescue. Yi Chunfeng revealed a confident smile and said, All right then. Be careful. Lin Kazhu held the fire crystal blade in her hand and softly exhorted. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath. With Scarlet Heaven's sword in hand, he carefully approached the terrifying giant sarcophagus. When he was about 3 meters away from the sarcophagus, he could clearly feel a terrifying awakening power surging out of the sarcophagus. The sleeping corpse king was awakened by the rich blood energy on Yi Chunfeng's body. Not good. The corpse king has awakened. Yi Chunfeng's expression changed. He used Transfiguration Phantom and suddenly sped up. In a flash, he appeared beside the 2 Yin Ganodermas. Before the corpse king could attack, he forcefully picked the 2 Yin Ganodermas. Boom! The moment the Yin Ganodermas were picked, a Yin Qi that made Yi Chunfeng feel suffocated erupted from the sarcophagus. It pushed open the heavy lid of the sarcophagus and fiercely bombarded Yi Chunfeng's body, sending him flying. A mouthful of blood sprayed out from his mouth. If Yi Chunfeng had not cultivated the viscera refinement realm to the small success realm and greatly improved his physical defense, this Yin Qi that was compressed to the extreme would have been enough to heavily injure his body and cause him to lose his ability to fight. Despicable human! Leave the Yin Ganodermas for me. The undead king, who was about 3 meters tall and wearing bronze armor, flew out of the sarcophagus and roared loudly with a chilling wail. Ha! 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 Fire Shadow Blade Mountain. Just as the enraged corpse king chased after Yi Chunfeng, Lin Kazhu, who was already prepared, leaped into the air. The image of a flame python appeared, and the flame crystal battle saber in her hand shone with endless flames. A saber mountain with flickering saber light and fire descended from the sky, slashing onto the corpse king's body. Chi. A blade mark appeared on the corpse king's bronze armor. The powerful blade light caused it to lose control of its body and uncontrollably take 3 steps back. Let's go. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the surging blood in his body. He and Lin Kazhu fled to the edge of the tombs. Despicable human. I will definitely eat you. The angry corpse king, with surging yin qi, quickly chased after Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu like a storm. Half-step sword force. Just as the corpse king used its strength to close the distance between Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu, the scarlet heaven sword in Yi Chunfeng's hand gushed out a sharp sword force. It gathered into a shocking sword light and slashed at the corpse king, forcing it back and slowing down its pursuit. What's that sound? At this time, Yen Yu, who had entered the depths of the cemetery of death to search for the Yin Ganoderma, suddenly heard the corpse king's angry roar and was attracted over. It's actually them. When the two of them saw from afar that the people the corpse king was chasing were actually Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu, ruthlessness immediately appeared in their eyes. It seems that they picked the Yin Ganoderma. Thinking of the possibility, Yen Yu and Song Kazhu retracted their auras and quietly followed. Roughly 2 hours later, Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu used all of their abilities and expended a large amount of soul power to finally shake off the corpse king's pursuit and appear at the edge of the cemetery of death. Huff huff, we're finally safe. The panting Lin Kazhu said with lingering fear, that corpse king is too scary. Its strength probably surpasses that of a rank 4 earth beast general. Careful, someone is approaching. Just as the two of them were adjusting their breathing and recovering their expended soul power, Yi Chunfeng's sharp perception detected 2 blurry auras rapidly approaching and immediately became alert. It's them. Seeing Yen Yu and Song Qi rapidly approaching, Lin Kazhu's expression became abnormally unsightly. She didn't think that her luck would be so bad. After expending so much effort to shake off the corpse king, she encountered the even more dangerous Yen Yu and Song Qi. In her current state, she definitely wasn't a match for the two of them. A trace of panic appeared in her heart. Lin Kazhu, we meet again. It seems that we are quite fated. Yen Yu noticed that Lin Kazhu's face was slightly pale and revealed a sinister smile as he spoke with ill intentions. Yen Yu, what do you want to do? Lin Kazhu forced herself to be calm as she asked. What do you think we want to do? Yen Zhe looked at Lin Kazhu's hot body with a burning gaze as he spoke with ill intentions. Lin Kazhu, it's time for you to pay back the humiliation you brought me that day. As for this brat, I will let him taste all kinds of pain for a long time and let him slowly die in pain. Yen Zhe licked his scarlet lips as he spoke viciously. I'm afraid that you don't have the ability. Yi Chunfeng threw the last soul recovery pill into his mouth, and a powerful burst of physical strength was emitted from his body. Chapter 79. Senior Sister Lin, leave Yen Yu to me. Yi Chunfeng's physical strength instantly increased. Using Shifting Phantom, he suddenly launched an attack at Yen Yu, who was the strongest of the group, with a powerful physical pressure. Courting death. When Yen Yu saw Yi Chunfeng's attack, he immediately took out a mid-grade spirit artifact staff with coiling dragon patterns from his Qiankuan pouch. With an irresistible force, it pierced towards Yi Chunfeng's chest. In order to heavily injure Yi Chunfeng, Yen Yu used almost all of his strength. A bolt of lightning appeared on the body of the staff, increasing the attack power. Careful, dodge quickly. Lin Kazhu knew how terrifying Yen Yu was. Even she didn't dare to say that she could win against Yen Yu. And now, Yi Chunfeng's exhaustion was obvious and he couldn't display his full strength. 40,000 pounds of strength. Hearing Lin Kazhu's exclamation, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. He controlled the energy in his body to fuse with his soul power, increasing his strength to the limit. A large amount of energy gathered on the surface of his fist as he welcomed the incoming dragon-patterned staff with a punch. Using his flesh to meet the dragon-patterned staff head-on, this brat must be tired of living. Seeing the scene in front of him, Song-Chi revealed a mocking smile. He could already foresee the scene of Yi Chenfeng's arm shattering. Lin Kazhu, who was about to attack, revealed a look of despair. She didn't dare to continue watching. Buzz! Yi Chenfeng's fist, which had compressed his strength to the limit, hit the dragon-patterned staff. The terrifying 40,000 pounds of strength was like a tide, rushing into the staff and shattering the coiling lightning on the surface of the staff. The impact caused Yen Yu's arm to go numb, and he almost lost his grip on the staff. What? Is this guy's fist made of black iron? How can it be so hard? Yen Yu's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't accept the reality in front of him. Not only was Yen Yu stunned by Yi Chenfeng's shocking physical strength, Song-Chi and Lin Kazhu also fell into a daze. They looked at Yi Chenfeng as if they were looking at a monster. As expected, Yen Yu's strength has been suppressed to the 6th rank due to the influence of the Cemetery of Death. Yi Chenfeng's heart calmed down as he pushed Yen Yu back with a punch. Qin Wentian roared as his aura erupted once more. His blood and qi surged out of his body like smoke signals, and the terrifying pressure caused Yen Yu to feel stifled. Thunder Flood Dragon Staff Technique. Sensing the threat that Yi Chenfeng posed, Yen Yu didn't dare to be careless anymore. She decisively used her high-grade spirit rank soul skill, Thunderstorm Staff, to counterattack. A beam of light flashed with lightning as it shot out. It transformed into a flood dragon that bared its fangs and brandished its claws. It roared as it attacked Yi Chenfeng. Although Yen Yu was affected by the Cemetery of Death and was unable to unleash the Tempest Staff's strongest attack, the Tempest Staff was still a high-grade spirit rank soul skill. Its might was extremely terrifying. Phantom Shift. Sensing the threat of the lightning flood dragon, Yi Chenfeng decisively used Phantom Shift to dodge. A light flashed beneath his feet and a blurry shadow appeared, increasing his speed. He narrowly dodged the lightning flood dragon's attack and closed in on Yen Yu, launching a thunderous attack. Yi Chenfeng and Yen Yu were locked in a fierce battle. Lin Kazhu and Song-Chi, who had regained their senses, also attacked each other. For a moment, deafening explosions resounded. Terrifying soul powers collided violently, forming a fierce shockwave that shook the ground beneath their feet to the point that it was full of cracks. Large patches of tombstones were flattened. Lin Kazhu, who had consumed a lot of soul power, knew that if she couldn't defeat Song-Chi quickly, she would be in great danger. She decisively used her strongest soul skill to attack Song-Chi. Following the emergence of the flame python's enormous body, surging soul power poured into the flame crystal warblade. For a moment, the surface of the flame crystal warblade was plated with a layer of fiery red light, as if it was burning. Mountain of Fire Shadow Blades! Lin Kazhu roared, and the flame crystal warblade in her hand suddenly slashed down. A terrifying red blade light swept up a scorching hot gale, turning into a mountain of blades that slashed towards Song-Chi. Lin Kazhu, today is different from the past. You are destined to be the loser. Song-Chi's pupils shrank. A terrifying beast soul faintly appeared in his body. Rolling purple lightning gushed out, condensing into a shocking purple lightning blade light that slashed towards the mountain of fire shadow blades. Boom! The moment the two shocking blade lights clashed, a deafening explosion erupted. Surging shockwaves fluctuated, and the yin qi churned violently. The earth seemed to be torn apart. Pooh! After a head-on collision, Lin Kazhu and Song-Chi both suffered a backlash. They retreated while spitting out blood. Lin Kazhu took a deep breath and suppressed the surging qi and blood in her body. She once again slashed out a flaming saber light at Song-Chi. For a moment, Lin Kazhu's tide-like attack suppressed Song-Chi, forcing him to retreat repeatedly. Lin Kazhu, I want to see how long you can last. Although Song Qi was in a passive state, he did not panic. He used all his strength to defend and deplete Lin Keju's soul power, waiting for an opportunity to turn the situation around. Not good, senior sister Lin can't hold on for much longer. I have to end this quickly, or else she might be in danger. Although Lin Keju's attacks were fierce, Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses detected that Lin Keju's aura was somewhat chaotic. He guessed that she could not hold on for much longer. Yi Chunfeng used his absolute strength to block Yan Yu's dragon-patterned staff. He slapped his Qiankuan pouch, and the scarlet heaven sword turned into a streak of red light and flew out. Then, the half-step sword force gushed out from his body. Half-step sword force! He thrust out his sword, and a sharp sword light appeared in the air. It pierced through the chaotic air, and slashed towards Yan Yu with an unstoppable force. When Yan Yu unleashed his soul skill and forcefully resisted Yi Chunfeng's half-step sword force, causing him to lose control of his body, Yi Chunfeng used shape-shifting phantom and suddenly closed in on him. Go to hell! Yi Chunfeng strangely appeared in front of Yan Yu. Yan Yu, who had lost control of his body, immediately waved his dragon-patterned staff to attack. When the overlapping staff lights fell, Yi Chunfeng used form displacement phantom to dodge the overlapping staff lights and appeared behind him. Not good! The overlapping staff shadows were dodged by Yi Chunfeng, and Yan Yu instinctively wanted to dodge. But the moment he dodged, he suddenly felt the ground beneath his feet tremble, which slowed down his dodging speed. In the next moment, a sharp sword light appeared behind him. It slashed through the air and broke through his body's defense, leaving behind a deep sword wound on his back that revealed his bones and sent him flying. Before he could stabilize his body, boundless sword force erupted from Yi Chunfeng's body once again. It condensed an astonishing destructive force and slashed towards his head. Although Yan Yu dodged with all his might, the sword light condensed from half-step sword force was too fast. In the blink of an eye, his right arm was chopped off by the sharp sword light and rolled on the ground, dripping with blood. His right arm was chopped off by Yi Chunfeng, causing Yan Yu to howl in pain. He covered the wound on his severed arm and decisively fled. Chapter 80. Senior Sister Lin, are you all right? Yi Chunfeng saw that Song Qigong had just escaped, and Lin Keju's soul power had been severely depleted. Her body was weak, and she was sitting on the ground, gasping for air. Qingfeng, it's all thanks to you this time. If you hadn't heavily injured Yan Yu and cut off his arm, I might have been in danger. Lin Keju said with lingering fear. This was the first time she was glad to team up with Yi Chunfeng for a mission. She was even more shocked by his strength. In her memory, she had never heard of a rank 3 beast illusionist defeating a rank 1 earth beast general. Senior Sister Lin, your body is too weak. You should quickly adjust your breathing and heal your injuries. Then, we will leave this place, Yi Chunfeng urged softly as he looked at the pale Lin Keju. Okay. Lin Keju didn't try to be brave. She quickly threw a pill into her mouth and sat cross-legged on the ground. She circulated her soul art and recovered. While Lin Keju was recovering, Yi Chunfeng took out more than 10 low-grade soul crystals from his Qiankuan bag and quietly circulated his soul-devouring art. He devoured the soul power contained in the soul crystals to replenish his exhausted soul power and physical strength. Time passed by slowly. After 3 hours of recuperation, Yi Chunfeng and Hoi Yuhao had basically recovered their expended soul force and injuries. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. It was about to turn dark again. Thinking of how terrifying the cemetery of death was at night, the two didn't stay for long. They quickly moved towards the periphery of the cemetery of death, wanting to leave this damned place as soon as possible. Just as Yi Chunfeng and Lin Keju were getting closer to the periphery of the cemetery of death, 2 terrified screams suddenly entered their ears and attracted their attention. That scream sounded like it came from Yan Yu and Song Qi. Could it be that they discovered the Yinlingji and were attacked by the Corpse King? Lin Keju's brows twitched slightly as she guessed. After discussing with Yi Chunfeng, she carefully approached. Just as the two passed through the layers of Yin Lingji and appeared in a densely packed cemetery, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. Yan Yu and Song Qi, who were on par with them, were lying on the ground with faces full of fear. The blood in their bodies, as well as the Qiankuan bags on their bodies, had all disappeared without a trace. They shouldn't have been killed by the Corpse King. If it was the Corpse King, it definitely wouldn't want their Qiankuan pouches. Yi Chunfeng analyzed after examining the two corpses. Then who killed them? Lin Kazhu asked with a grave expression, her heart filled with deep unease. Senior sister, do you still remember last night? I said that someone seemed to be spying on us. Yi Chunfeng guessed, perhaps the two of them were killed by that person. Qingfeng, it's not easy to stay here. Let's get out of here quickly. When Yi Chunfeng said this, Lin Kazhu immediately thought of the strange scene from last night. The uneasiness in her heart grew even stronger. She immediately pulled Yi Chunfeng and fled out of the cemetery of death. For someone who could easily kill Yan Yu and Song Qi, killing them wouldn't be difficult at all. Wait, that person is here. Just as the two of them were about to leave, Yi Chunfeng suddenly grabbed Lin Kazhu's soft hand and looked ahead as if he was facing a great enemy. In the dense Yin Qi, a tall and sturdy man wearing a black robe and a devil mask slowly walked over. I really didn't expect that a rank 3 beast illusionist like you would be able to discover my soul spying on you twice. It seems like you have some secrets that I am interested in. The ghost-masked man said with a hoarse voice. Two chilling eyes shot out from the ghost mask. We have never offended you. If you are willing to let us go, I am willing to give you my Qiankuan pouches. Feeling that the ghost-masked man's strength was even more terrifying than the Corpse King, Lin Kazhu was afraid. Ha! I went through untold hardships to lure you here. Do you think I will let you leave alive? The ghost-masked man laughed loudly and said, After I kill you all, everything on you will be mine. Hearing the ghost-masked man's arrogant words, Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows and said with a serious expression, Could it be that the cemetery of death is your bounty? The ghost-masked man released a powerful aura and locked onto Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu as he said with a hoarse voice, Brat, I have discovered that you are very smart. I am somewhat reluctant to kill you. Feeling the pressure released by the ghost-masked man, Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu's breathing became difficult and their legs kept sinking. A rank 6 Earth Beast General. This person should be a rank 6 Earth Beast General expert. Through the ghost-masked man's aura, Lin Kazhu guessed his strength and her heart fell to the bottom. With her and Yi Chunfeng's strength, there was no chance of survival if they encountered a rank 6 Earth Beast General expert. Cold sweat flowed down her forehead. At this moment she was truly afraid. Qingfeng, let's split up and escape. If anyone is lucky enough to escape from him, immediately return to the Sky Fire Martial House and report this matter to the Martial House Master. Ask him to avenge us. The anxious Lin Kazhu instructed through voice transmission. This person is too strong. We don't have a chance. The only thing we can do now is to work together. Perhaps we will have a chance of survival. Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and silently increased his physical strength, preparing for the final fight. Let's charge. Yi Chunfeng didn't sit still and wait for death. Following an ear-piercing sword cry, the Scarlet Heaven sword filled with half-step sword force pierced towards the ghost-masked man. Spectre Ghost Claw. Facing the half-step sword force attack, the ghost-masked man did not dodge. Endless Yin Qi gathered in his right hand, and in an instant, a dark green, extremely sharp ghost claw flew out and grabbed the Scarlet Heaven sword that was thrusting towards him. Kacha! The low-grade spiritual Scarlet Heaven sword couldn't withstand the attack of the Spectre Ghost Claw, and cracks appeared on the surface of the sword. The incomparably tough Scarlet Heaven sword was cracked by the ghost-masked man's soul skill. Mountain of Fire Shadow Blades. The moment Yi Chunfeng used half-step sword force to attack, Lin Kazhu clenched her teeth and leaped into the air. Endless fire chi poured into her fire crystal battle blade, and slashed out a mountain of blades that were filled with flames, bombarding the ghost masked man. Seeing that the ghost masked man was about to be swallowed by the mountain of blades, a ghost bat that emitted a purple light appeared on his body and smashed the mountain of blades into pieces. Purple soul light, you are a heavenly beast immortal expert. Seeing the purple light emitted by the ghost bat, Lin Keshu despaired. She never dreamed that she would meet a legendary figure in the cemetery of death. Why did the God-Eater brain analyze that this person is only a rank 6 earthly beast general, but his spiritual beast is at the level of a heavenly beast immortal? Could it be that he was injured and has been hiding in the cemetery of death to recuperate? Yi Chunfeng tried to calm himself down and guessed in his heart. Although Yi Chunfeng guessed the ghost masked man's secret, the difference in strength between them was too great. With the strength of Yi Chunfeng and Lin Keshu, it was impossible for them to make a comeback. Alright, the game is over. You can die now. Chapter 81. Qi and Blood Burn. As the ghost bat attacked, Lin Keshu's eyes revealed a resolute expression. She didn't hesitate to burn all the qi and blood in her body and poured it into the fire crystal battle blade. She slashed with her strongest blade towards the ghost bat as a final gamble. The moment Lin Keshu put her life on the line, Yi Chunfeng threw away the heavily damaged Scarlet Heaven sword that was full of cracks and took out the mysterious broken sword. He didn't care about the danger and poured his half-step sword force into the broken sword to attack. After infusing the half-step sword force that Yi Chunfeng poured in, the broken sword became restless. Yi Chunfeng could clearly feel that the sword force sealed on the broken sword's hilt showed signs of breaking out. Buzz! A glaring white light lit up. Under Yi Chunfeng's full-powered half-step sword force attack, the broken sword reflected a sharp sword ray. It brought along an ear-piercing sound as it slashed towards the aggressive ghost bat. Boom! Boom! Two loud sounds echoed. The fire shadow sword mountain and half-step sword force slashed onto the ghost bat's body one after another, setting off a huge wave. Endless energy swept across the surroundings, causing the surrounding air to shake and set off billowing wave. After facing the two's strongest attacks head-on, the purple soul light emitted by the ghost bat's body dimmed a little. Especially the sword ray condensed by Yi Chunfeng's half-step sword force, it even injured the ghost bat's soul body, causing the ghost masked man to feel a trace of soul power backlash. The ghost bat was infuriated by the fact that its soul was injured. It flapped its huge fleshy wings and forcibly broke the saber mountain and sword shadow. Then, it spat out balls of purple soul light toward Yi Chunfeng and Yi Qintang to attack them. Quickly dodge! As the purple soul light attacked, Yi Chunfeng immediately used form displacement phantom and transformed into a blurry shadow. He narrowly dodged the purple soul light attack. As for Lin Ziyue, who was burning her qi and blood to launch her strongest attack, she couldn't dodge and was hit in the chest by a purple soul light. The inner armor she was wearing was immediately shattered. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fell dozens of meters away before fainting. I didn't expect you to be so tenacious. The demon-masked man suppressed the backlash of his soul force and glared at Yi Chunfeng with a murderous look in his eyes. Looks like you're heavily injured. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to injure you with our strength. Yi Chunfeng stared at him with burning eyes. He quietly controlled the power of the soul-devouring brain to break the runes on the broken sword as he spoke in a low voice, stalling for time. Kid, you know too much. This is not a good thing for you. The masked man fused the ghost bat into his body and walked toward Yi Chunfeng with heavy step. Although he walked very slowly, with every step he took, the aura emitted from his body would increase by a bit. The powerful pressure made Yi Chunfeng's breathing more and more difficult. Senior, if I can help you attract more people, would you let me go? Yi Chunfeng said with difficulty as he continued to stall for time. No. Although Yi Chunfeng's strength was not high, the masked man could sense a dangerous aura from his body. He spoke with murderous intent. Senior, you talk too much nonsense. Die obediently. The masked man interrupted Yi Qinfeng's words. He clapped his right hand in the air and formed the ghost claw again. With an ear-piercing sound, he clawed at Yi Qinfeng's chest, wanting to crush his heart. It's not certain who will die. Yi Qinfeng roared. He held the broken sword with both hands and slashed at the ghost claw with a force that could split the sky. In the next moment, the sword force sealed in the broken sword shot out. Under the horrified gaze of the masked man, it pierced through the ghost claw and slashed at the masked man with a force of 1,000 pounds. The masked man did not expect Yi Qinfeng to be able to slash out such a terrifying sword. In addition, they were too close to each other and he had no time to dodge. Ghost Bat. At the critical moment, he summoned his soul beast, the Ghost Bat, wanting to block the shocking sword force. However, the last sword force sealed in the broken sword was too terrifying. The Ghost Bat that was emitting purple light could not block it at all. Chi! A strange sound of cloth tearing rang out as the shocking sword aura cleaved through the Ghost Bat without any suspense. The remaining power did not diminish as it slashed onto the masked man's body, cutting off more than half of his body. A large amount of blood spurted out like a fountain, covering the ground. The sword force sealed in the broken sword did not disappoint me. Looking at the masked man who was lying in a pool of blood and was barely alive, Yi Qinfeng breathed a sigh of relief. If this sword force failed, he would not be able to escape. More importantly, there was no hidden danger in the broken sword. In the future, he could repair the damaged formation patterns in the broken sword without worry and use it as a weapon. Sword force. With your strength, how could you release such a powerful sword force? Who are you? The masked man did not even dream that he would fall into the hands of Yi Qinfeng. He said in despair, "Who I am is not important. What's important is, who are you?" Yi Qinfeng looked at the ghost masked man who was on the verge of death. He was also curious about his identity. "I never thought that I would fall into the hands of a junior like you," the masked man said with a sigh. "It seems like the heavens want me to die." After saying that, the masked man, who knew that he was going to die, wanted to self-destruct. Suddenly, a sharp sword ray shot out from the broken sword and chopped off his only remaining left arm. He was in so much pain that he howled in agony and stopped his thoughts of suicide. In the next moment, Yi Qinfeng appeared behind him with a phantom image and struck his head with a palm, knocking him unconscious. Soul-devouring art, devour! Yi Qinfeng's palm surged with boundless devouring power. It went through the masked man's head and into the depths of his soul. It devoured his spirit beast, the blood bat. Immediately, rich soul force flowed into all the meridians in his body, increasing his strength while tempering his internal organs. Such rich soul power. What kind of expert is this person? Even when he is heavily injured, the blood bat still has such strong soul power. Feeling the soul power in his body rising and his organs transforming, Yi Qinfeng felt his heart palpitate at the masked man's peak strength. My soul power is overflowing. Breakthrough. After about 30 minutes, Yi Qinfeng, who had devoured a large amount of soul power, felt his soul power overflowing. He naturally broke through to the 4th rank beast illusionist realm. After breaking through, Yi Qinfeng continued to devour the soul power in the masked man's mind to increase his strength and cultivate the 6 meridians divine shield. After another 30 minutes, Yi Qinfeng completely devoured the masked man's spirit beast, the blood bat. At this moment, his soul power was overflowing again and he easily broke through to the 5th rank beast illusionist realm. His organs had absorbed 60% of the blood bat's soul power and 60% of the tempering was completed. His pure physical strength had reached a shocking strength of 30,000 kilograms. In addition to the increase in soul power, his strongest physical strength had reached over 60,000 kilograms. One punch was enough to kill a 6th rank beast illusionist. Chapter 82. What a serious injury! Her meridians are severely damaged, 6 of her sternum are broken, and one of the bones pierced through her heart artery. Yi Chunfeng relied on his inherited medical skills to check Lin Keju's injuries and found that her injuries were very serious. If it wasn't for the inner armor that neutralized most of the attacks from the ghost bats and the vigorous blood qi in her body, she would have died a long time ago. No, I have to treat senior sister Lin's injuries as soon as possible, or else her life will be in danger. But at this time, the sky was gradually darkening, and the cemetery of death was full of danger. The ear-piercing cries of ghosts continuously entered his ears. Once a large number of ghosts came out from the ground, Lin Keju would be in even more danger, and Yi Chunfeng wouldn't have the time to treat her. I wonder if there are any healing elixirs among the ghost masked man's belongings? After pondering, Yi Chunfeng took out 2 Qiankis from the ghost masked man's belongings. Borrowing the power of the soul devourer's brain, he broke the array patterns in the Qiankuan bag one by one and released his soul power into it. So many low-grade soul crystals, and there are even mid-grade soul crystals. When Yi Chunfeng released his soul force into the first Qiankuan pouch, a look of shock appeared on his face. He discovered that this Qiankuan pouch was filled with soul crystals. There were more than 30,000 low-grade soul crystals and 123 mid-grade soul crystals. The value of mid-grade soul crystals was much higher than low-grade soul crystals, and outside of the illusory sects, they were rarely seen in the outside world. When Yi Chunfeng released his soul power into the second Qiankuan bag, he found a lot of strange things, but time was limited, and he didn't have time to study them. Yes, this is the soul-returning elixir. Yi Chunfeng found a jade bottle sealed with runes in the Qiankuan bag. When he broke the restriction of the runes and opened the bottle, he found that there were 9 priceless soul-returning pellets inside. The soul-returning elixir was a 9th-grade elixir made from dozens of precious herbs, and it was a first-class healing elixir. Each soul-returning elixir was worth more than 3,000 low-grade soul crystals, and it was priceless. Senior Sister Lin can be saved. Yi Chunfeng took out a soul-returning pill and stuffed it into Lin Keju's mouth. Immediately, a large amount of medicinal power flowed down her throat and into her body, healing her injuries. I'm sorry, Senior Sister Lin. The soul-returning pill had taken effect, but Lin Keju still had a fatal wound on her body, and that was the broken bone in her chest. If it was not connected in time, even the soul-returning pill would not be able to heal the broken arteries in her heart. The situation was urgent, so Yi Chunfeng didn't have time to appreciate her attractive body. He took a deep breath and tried to get rid of all distracting thoughts. He took out a box of silver needles from his Qiankuan bag and used the Tianxian needle to insert them into the acupuncture points on her body. Following that, Yi Chunfeng released his soul power into Lin Keju's body, locked onto her broken bones, and carefully set them back together. Because the process was too painful, Lin Keju woke up from her deep coma. When she opened her tired eyes and found Yi Chunfeng sitting beside her, stretching out his large hands to massage her body, she immediately became nervous. Senior Sister Lin, don't be nervous. I'm helping you set your bones. If I wasn't able to connect your broken bones in time, I'm afraid your life would be in danger. Yi Chunfeng noticed that Lin Keju had woken up and quickly explained. Thank you. Knowing that Yi Chunfeng was helping her heal her injuries, the shy Lin Keju spat out these 2 words with difficulty. She closed her eyes and allowed Yi Chunfeng to help her set her bones. After about half an hour, Yi Chunfeng finally connected Lin Keju's broken bones. Following that, he took out a set of clothes from his Qiankuan bag and helped her put them on, covering her body. Senior Sister Lin, hold on to me tightly. Let's leave this place first. Lin Keju's life was no longer in danger. Yi Chunfeng immediately carried her by the waist and ran towards the periphery of the cemetery of death. At this time, the sky was already dark. A large number of specters drilled out from the ground and launched attacks at Yi Chunfeng and Lin Keju. Although there were a lot of specters surrounding them, Yi Chunfeng's strength was no longer the same as before. He was like a rapidly flying meteorite, exploding with astonishing strength and crushing all the specters that got close to him. Qingfeng, you broke through to become a rank 5 beast illusionist? Feeling Yi Chunfeng's explosive strength, Lin Kazhu, who was hugging him tightly and nestling in his embrace, revealed an extremely shocked expression. And wait until we leave this place. I'll explain to you, Yi Chunfeng vaguely said. About 7 hours later, dawn replaced the night and descended upon the world. Yi Chunfeng carried Lin Kazhu, whose injuries were slowly recovering, and finally killed their way out of the cemetery of death that was filled with dangers. Phew, we're finally out. After killing all the way, even with Yi Chunfeng's strength, he still felt extremely exhausted. After putting down Lin Kazhu's soft body, he panted heavily. Qingfeng, thank you. Thank you for saving me. Although Yi Chunfeng touched her body, Lin Kazhu knew that if it wasn't for him, she would have been buried in the cemetery of death. She was extremely grateful. Senior Sister Lin, how do you feel? Yi Chunfeng let out a mouthful of turbid air, wiped the sweat on his forehead and asked softly. I'm much better. Oh right, Qingfeng, where's that terrifying devil-masked man from last night? Why didn't he kill us? Recalling the terrifying scene last night, Lin Kazhu asked doubtfully. She couldn't understand why the devil-masked man would let them go. We were saved by someone last night. When the devil-masked man injured me, a mysterious expert appeared and saved me. He even gave me an elixir pill. It was because of that elixir pill that I was able to heal my injuries. I even made continuous breakthroughs in my cultivation and reached class 5 beast illusionist. Yi Chunfeng felt that the devil-masked man might be hiding a huge secret. In addition, the devil-masked man's belongings were too plentiful. Yi Chunfeng decided to conceal the truth and fabricated a story. Continuous breakthroughs in cultivation? Could it be a spirit-grade soul elixir? Although Yi Chunfeng's story was full of loopholes, Lin Kazhu didn't doubt his words. After all, the devil-masked man was suspected to be a heaven beast immortal expert. With Yi Chunfeng's strength, he couldn't contend against him. The only explanation was that someone saved them. I didn't expect this cemetery of death to be so terrifying, Lin Kazhu said with lingering fear. All right, Senior Sister, can you call back that green-winged dove? I'm afraid it was chased away by the Thunder Mountain Martial House's people? Yi Chunfeng asked softly. Let me try. Lin Kazhu took out a stone whistle from her Qiankuan bag and blew a strange sound. After about an incense stick's worth of time, an ear-piercing bird cry sounded. The green-winged dove flapped its dark green wings and quickly flew over. Let's go. Chapter 83. The autumn wind rustled as large swaths of red leaves fluttered in the wind and fluttered down. Elder Yu mistakenly thought that Yi Chunfeng was dead for sure and was in a good mood as he sat cross-legged under an ancient tree wrapped in vines to cultivate. Just as he was trying to break through to the 5th grade Earth Beast General Realm, the communication bead in his pocket suddenly lit up. What happened? Why did the Martial House Master suddenly summon us to the meeting hall? After receiving the message, Elder Yu revealed a trace of astonishment. However, since the Martial House Master had summoned him, he didn't dare to delay. He had no choice but to stop cultivating and head to the meeting hall. When he hurried to the meeting hall, an unexpected person suddenly appeared in front of him, causing him to be stunned. Yi Chunfeng, how did he come back alive? And he even broke through to the 5th grade beast illusionist realm. Seeing Yi Chunfeng sitting at the side of the hall, Elder Yu's eyes widened. His heart was in turmoil. He didn't dare to imagine that not only had Yi Chunfeng returned safely from the cemetery of death, his strength had also increased by leaps and bounds, reaching the 5th grade beast illusionist realm. Yi Chunfeng caught sight of Elder Yu's astonished expression from the corner of his eyes. Although his expression didn't change, he had a strong killing intent towards Elder Yu. Back then, Elder Yu definitely didn't have good intentions when he encouraged him to go to the cemetery of death. If it wasn't for his luck, he might have really died in the cemetery of death. Today, we have gathered everyone in the meeting hall because Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu brought back an important piece of news from the cemetery of death. If this news is confirmed, the Skyfire sect will be alarmed. An old man wearing a white robe with snow-white hair and a beard exuding a fierce aura sat on the main seat of the meeting hall and said indifferently. This white-robed old man was the martial house master of the Skyfire martial house, Qian Daobai, who rarely showed himself. Which one of you will repeat what happened? Qian Daobai cast his gaze towards Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu and asked. Let me say it. Yi Chunfeng slowly stood up and repeated the words he had memorized. After listening to Yi Chunfeng's narration, the entire meeting hall was silent. Many pairs of doubtful eyes focused on Yi Chunfeng. Yi Chunfeng, you were really attacked by a heaven beast immortal expert? The disciplinary elder asked. Yes, that person's spirit beast, the ghost bat, is emitting a purple light. He should be a heavenly beast immortal expert. If it weren't for the fact that we were saved at the crucial moment, Senior Sister Lin and I would have died in the cemetery of death. Yi Chunfeng nodded and said. I believe that the news they brought back is true. While many people were doubting Yi Chunfeng and Tian Shouxian, Gan Daobai opened his mouth and said, If my guess is correct, that expert who is suspected to be Tian Shouxian is very likely one of the 4 great ghost immortals who escaped from the heavenly ghost sect back then, Tian Tian Ghost Immortal. Heaven Ghost of the Ghost. Of the Heaven Ghost of the Heaven. Of the Ghost. Of the Elder of Heaven of the Heaven. His spiritual beast Ghost Bat. His low-grade Earth rank soul skill Ghost Claw. He can devour the blood of others and doesn't dare to show his true appearance. These are the characteristics of the Heaven Ghost of the Ghost. More importantly, the Heavenly Ghost sect was annihilated by my Heavenly Fire sect, Storm Valley and Thunderbird Mountain. Although the Heaven Ghost Immortal escaped, he suffered injuries that are almost impossible to recover from. Therefore, he hid in the cemetery of death and deliberately attracted the disciples of the 3 martial houses. It is reasonable that he devoured the blood of the disciples to recover his strength and take revenge. Gan Daobai analyzed. Mansion Master, it is said that the most mysterious treasure map of the Heavenly Ghost sect is on the Heaven Ghost Immortal. If this person is really the Heaven Ghost Immortal, should we immediately inform the Heavenly Fire sect to capture him? The disciplinary elder said after pondering for a moment. After hearing the disciplinary elder's words, Yi Chunfeng's heart moved. It was as he had guessed. The ghost-masked man had a big secret, and this secret was very likely to be with him. We will talk about this later. Yi Chunfeng, Lin Kazhu, the news you brought back is very important. This is my reward for you, 5,000 low-grade soul crystals each. Gan Daobai interrupted the disciplinary elder's words and rewarded Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu with 5,000 low-grade soul crystals each. Alright, your injuries are not light. Both of you should go back and rest. Remember, the news you brought back is very important. Remember to keep it a secret and don't mention it to anyone. Gan Daobai solemnly instructed. Rest assured, Mansion Master, we will not speak carelessly. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng and Lin Kazhu left the conference hall one after another. After leaving the conference hall, Yi Chunfeng looked at Lin Kazhu, who seemed to be deep in thought, and said softly, Senior Sister Lin, I am going back. You should recuperate well and try to recover as soon as possible. Qingfeng, I will definitely repay you for saving my life in the future. Lin Kazhu looked at Yi Chunfeng with sparkling eyes and said with a complicated tone. Although she did not resent Yi Chunfeng, she still could not forget the scene of Yi Chunfeng healing her. Yi Chunfeng responded with a smile and turned to leave, returning to the small courtyard by the cliff. After returning to the courtyard, Yi Chunfeng immediately activated the Formation Runes restriction and took out the 2 Qiankuan bags left behind by the Heaven Splitter Ghost Immortal. More than 38,000 low-grade soul crystals, 123 mid-grade soul crystals, and the 5,000 low-grade soul crystals rewarded by the Mansion Master. This is enough for me to squander for a long time. Yi Chunfeng carefully counted the soul crystals in the first Qiankuan bag and cast his gaze on the second Qiankuan bag. Don't you know that the Heavenly Ghost Sect's treasure map is in here? Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and released his soul power into the Qiankuan bag to quickly search. Soul skill scrolls, materials to condense formation runes, mid-grade spirit tools, spiritual herbs of heaven and earth, a piece of black iron sheet, a skull, no treasure map? Yi Chunfeng checked the Qiankuan bag and did not find the treasure map. However, the mysterious skull and black iron sheet in the Qiankuan bag caught his attention. With a thought, he took out the two items. Could the Heavenly Ghost Sect's treasure map be hidden in this iron sheet or the skull? Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment and picked up the black iron sheet and released his powerful soul power into it. Formation runes. There are indeed formation runes in this black iron sheet. Sensing the power of the formation runes in the black iron sheet, Yi Chunfeng immediately used the power of the God-Eater brain to break it. After about half an incense stick's time, the formation runes in the black iron sheet were broken and a mysterious soul skill emerged from the iron sheet. Earth rank low-grade soul skill, Spectre Ghost Claw. Yi Chunfeng quickly skimmed through the soul skill in the iron sheet and revealed a disappointed expression. Although the Spectre Ghost Claw was extremely powerful and could crush low-grade spirit tools, if he learned it himself, it would be easy for people to associate him with the Heaven Splitter Ghost Immortal. In order to avoid trouble, he had no choice but to give up on this secret skill. After storing the black iron sheet in the Qiankuan bag, Yi Chunfeng studied the strange skull again. When Yi Chunfeng released his soul power into it, he also felt the formation runes. However, the formation runes in the skull were several times stronger than the ones in the black iron sheet. Yi Chunfeng used the God-Eater brain to decipher the formation runes inside for nearly an hour before he could break the formation runes inside with difficulty. In the next moment, an intense energy fluctuation appeared in the skull. When Yi Chunfeng released his soul power into it, a detailed topographic map appeared in his mind along with a large number of annotations. Heavenly Ghost Sect's Treasure Map. Chapter 84. I didn't expect the Heavenly Ghost Sect's most mysterious treasure to be hidden on a nameless island in the northwestern part of the North Sea. I wonder what kind of treasures are in this treasure trove. Yi Chunfeng relied on his extraordinary memory to memorize the map of the Heavenly Ghost Sect's treasure trove. Then, he borrowed the power of the Soul Devourer to forcefully erase the treasure trove map from the skull and put it away in his universal pouch. As a precaution, Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to carry the heaven-devouring Ghost Immortal's belongings with him. He moved the low-grade soul crystals, soul-returning pellets, more than 10 stalks of spiritual herbs, and more than 100 kinds of materials for refining formation patterns into his own Qiankuan pouch. After that, he dug a hole more than 10 meters deep in the courtyard and buried the 2 Qiankuan pouches. The night was like water, the night breeze blew, and the surroundings were calm. After witnessing the Heaven Splitter Ghost Immortal's strength, Yi Chunfeng knew that he still had a long way to go. He had to increase his strength as soon as possible to deal with the troubles he might encounter at any time. After resting for a while, Yi Chunfeng sat cross-legged under an ancient tree in the courtyard and quickly entered a state of emptiness. This time, he was preparing to cultivate sword force with astonishing offensive power. After going through the cemetery of death, Yi Chunfeng's understanding of half-step sword force deepened by another level. There were many epiphanies regarding sword force in his mind. If he could integrate these epiphanies into half-step sword force, he was confident that he would be able to cultivate true sword force and increase his offensive power. Time passed day by day. Yi Chunfeng was like an old monk in meditation. He sat cross-legged under the ancient tree without moving an inch. There was not a trace of soul power fluctuation on his body. The consumption of his body also slowed down in this state of emptiness. After cultivating for a long time, he didn't feel the slightest bit of hunger. After an unknown number of days, the ancient tree behind Yi Chunfeng suddenly shook. An ear-piercing sword cry resounded from Yi Chunfeng's body. In the next moment, a mercury-like sword ray shot out from Yi Chunfeng's body and pierced the sky. The formation pattern restriction above the courtyard was attacked by this sharp sword ray and immediately distorted, causing the entire formation pattern to violently tremble. Sword force! I've finally comprehended the true sword force. Yi Chunfeng suddenly opened his eyes. Two sword-like rays of light shot out from his eyes, revealing their sharpness. Although he had comprehended sword force, it was extremely mysterious. It was divided into 9 levels of sword force, which was the 9 heavens of sword force. The power of each level increased exponentially. With what he had comprehended now, it could only be considered as the first heaven of sword force. However, this first layer of sword force had increased his attack power by more than 2-fold. When fully unleashed, it was enough to kill a Grade 1 Earth Beast General Expert. Yi Chunfeng felt a sense of hunger as his attack power skyrocketed. He stopped cultivating and left the courtyard, heading to the spiritual kitchen for a meal. After eating the delicacies cooked from spirit beast meat in the spirit kitchen, the spirited Yi Chunfeng didn't go to the soul skill pavilion to choose a sword-type soul skill. After comprehending sword force, he didn't have any interest in the sword-type soul skills in the soul skills pavilion. The offensive power of his sword force completely surpassed that of a spirit-level soul skill. Let's go to the heavenly soul formation. Yi Chunfeng pondered for a moment before arriving at the heavenly soul array. He was prepared to challenge the array a second time and charge into the top 10 of the heavenly fire martial ranking. When Yi Chunfeng walked into the large hall outside the heavenly soul array, he discovered that Shin Tu-heng was also there. Other than Shin Tu-heng, there was also the unruly and willful Shin Tu-bing standing by the side. When Shin Tu-heng saw Yi Chunfeng slowly walking over, his eyes shot out beams of light as he spoke arrogantly, Grade 5 Beast Illusionist, Yi Chunfeng. You really didn't disappoint me. My original proposal is still valid. My Shin Tu clan's door is always open for you. I'm sorry, but I don't have any good feelings for your sister. It's impossible for me to marry her. Furthermore, I will not marry into your Shin Tu clan, Yi Chunfeng said coldly. After breaking through to the realm of a Grade 5 Beast Illusionist and cultivating his sword force to 10%, Yi Chunfeng was no longer afraid of Shin Tu-heng. If he provoked him, Yi Chunfeng wouldn't mind giving him an unforgettable memory. You, as the eldest daughter of the Shin Tu clan, Shin Tu-bing had never suffered such grievances. If she wasn't wary of Yi Chunfeng's strength, she would have already taken action. Yi Chunfeng, my Shin Tu clan really doesn't want to destroy you. Why do you insist on being so obstinate? Shin Tu-heng said with a gloomy expression, If you marry my sister, you will have both. I believe that in the entire Sky Fire Martial House, not many people can resist such temptation. Third brother, are you crazy? Why do you insist on marrying me to that hateful guy? Even if I die, I won't marry him. The proud Shin Tu-bing's self-esteem had suffered a blow. The more she looked at Yi Chunfeng, the more she disliked him. She shouted in exasperation. Don't worry, I won't marry you either. Yi Chunfeng said lightly. You. Shin Tu-bing felt like her lungs were about to explode from anger. She shook Shin Tu-heng's arm and said, Third brother, teach that toad a lesson for me. Let him know the power of my Shin Tu clan. Yi Chunfeng, your choice has disappointed me. Shin Tu-heng's pupils constricted. A powerful killing intent was emitted from his body, enveloping Yi Chunfeng. You will pay the price for this. Chingfeng, do you need help? Just as Shin Tu-heng was releasing his powerful aura to oppress Yi Chunfeng, a familiar voice suddenly rang out, breaking the tense atmosphere. Lin Kazhu, who was wearing tight black clothes, outlined her enchanting figure, and with her long dark green hair casually draped over her shoulders, slowly walked over with her long slender legs. "It's nothing, just a small problem." Yi Chunfeng smiled, ignoring Shin Tu Heng's oppressive aura as he said lightly. "Lin Kazhu, this is a matter between me and Yi Chunfeng. Please give my Shin Tu clan some face and don't meddle in other people's business," Shin Tu Heng said with a gloomy face. Clearly, Yi Chunfeng's disdain for him had angered him. "What if I don't want to give your Shin Tu clan some face?" Lin Kazhu said disdainfully, causing Shin Tu Heng's face to turn green with anger. "Yi Chunfeng, do you only know how to hide behind a woman?" Although Shin Tu Heng was angry, he did have some misgivings about Lin Kazhu's strength. He looked angrily at Yi Chunfeng and provoked him. "What do you want? Do you want to compete with me in the Great Spirit Arena, or do you want to compete with me in the Heavenly Soul Array?" Yi Chunfeng sneered and asked without showing any weakness. "What do you want?" Yi Chunfeng was a genius. How could he not be a genius? Furthermore, he had always been looking for such opportunities. So when he heard Yi Chunfeng's arrogant provocation, Shin Tu Heng revealed a mocking smile. "All right, I promise you." Yi Chunfeng nodded and agreed immediately. This time, he did not make a bet with Shin Tu Heng in front of everyone. This was because he wanted to completely crush Shin Tu Heng's martial heart. He wanted to turn him into trash and give the Shin Tu clan a warning. "How about we first bet on the Heavenly Fire martial roles ranking?" Yi Chunfeng asked with a smile. "Of course. I hope you can still smile in a while," Shin Tu Heng said with a gloomy face as he slowly walked towards the Heavenly Soul Array. "Chunfeng, it's really sad to be your enemy." Lin Kazhu looked at Yi Chunfeng's chiseled side profile and said faintly. She then followed Yi Chunfeng into the Heavenly Soul Array. Yi Chunfeng and Shin Tu Heng's bet outside the Heavenly Soul Array immediately attracted the attention of many people. Immediately, the Heavenly Soul Array Grand Hall was packed with people. Chapter 85. I wonder how many layers of the Heavenly Soul Array I can reach with my current strength. Yi Chunfeng stood in the blazing purgatory and looked at the boundless sea of fire and boiling magma. His body emitted an intense battle intent. Boom! A muffled sound of thunder came from under Yi Chunfeng's feet. His body was like an arrow leaving the bow as he rushed into the blazing purgatory. Stepping on the boiling stone path, he ran towards the depths of the blazing purgatory at an extremely fast speed. Pring pring pring! The moment Yi Chunfeng rushed into the blazing purgatory, blazing fireballs flew out of the boiling magma and shot towards Yi Chunfeng. Just as the blazing fireballs transformed into human figures, Yi Chunfeng pointed his finger in the air. Streaks of starlight shot out and pierced through the fireballs, causing them to dissipate in mid-air. After breaking through to the Grade 5 Beast Illusionist realm, the enemies in the first layer of the Heavenly Soul Array were no longer a threat to him. Yi Chunfeng was like a sharp blade with overflowing killing intent as he killed the enemies hidden in the magma like the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. In less than half an hour, the high-spirited Yi Chunfeng had killed all the enemies in the first layer of space. He broke through the array pattern restriction and entered the second layer of space. The strength of the enemies in the second layer of space had increased, but they were still unable to pose a threat to Yi Chunfeng. Streaks of extremely powerful piercing finger beams pierced through the scorching space and continuously killed the Grade 1 Beast Illusionist realm enemies. After another incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng entered the space of the third space as if he had entered an uninhabited land. In half an hour, he had consecutively broken through 2 layers of the Heavenly Soul Array. This astonishing speed of killing enemies and breaking through the array was shocking. Say, who do you think is more powerful, Yi Chunfeng or Shin Tu Heng? While Yi Chunfeng, Lin Kazhu, and Shin Tu Heng were breaking through the Heavenly Soul Array, the Sky Fire Martial House disciples gathered in the Heavenly Soul Array main hall were discussing spiritedly. I feel that Shin Tu Heng is still more powerful. After all, Shintu Heng is a rank 1 Earth Beast General Expert. Moreover, I heard that he has 1 foot in the rank 2 Earth Beast General realm and could break through at any time. That's right. Yi Chunfeng is a genius, but isn't Shintu Heng a genius as well? Furthermore, there's a huge gap in strength between them. Yi Chunfeng definitely can't beat Shintu Heng. It's true that Shintu Heng is powerful, but do you think that Yi Chunfeng is a reckless person? Since he dares to challenge Shintu Heng in public, he definitely has full confidence. I think the top 10 of the Heavenly Fire Martial ranking is going to change. Time slowly passed. Just as the Sky Fire Martial House's disciples were excitedly guessing Yi Chunfeng's results, the Sky Fire Martial House's martial rankings began to emit rays of white light. It's changed. Yi Chunfeng's ranking has changed. 38th, 37th, 36th. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's ranking constantly changing in such a short period of time, the Sky Fire Martial House's disciples were extremely excited. They would occasionally let out exclamations of surprise. 21st place? How is this possible? That little bastard definitely cheated. It hasn't even been an hour. How could he obtain so many points? Shintu Shui looked at Yi Chunfeng's rapidly changing ranking in disbelief, as he loudly questioned. Not only was Shintu Shui suspicious of Yi Chunfeng's results, many of the martial house's disciples were also suspicious as they discussed spiritedly. Humph, all of you shut up. Just as the Heavenly Soul Array's main hall was becoming more and more noisy, a thunderous voice suddenly rang out. The stern Elder Tan and Elder Lu appeared at the same time. Elder Tan, that Yi Chunfeng used less than an hour to reach the 21st place. I suspect that he cheated. Shintu Shui loudly complained. Cheated? Tell me, how did this Heavenly Soul Array cheat? Elder Tan sternly questioned. But how did his results increase so quickly? Shintu Shui was unconvinced as he said. If I'm not wrong, that Yi Chunfeng killed all his opponents in an instant. That's why his ranking rose so quickly. Elder Lu whispered. Killed all his opponents in an instant. Hearing Elder Lu's words, the noisy main hall instantly quieted down. Killing all his opponents in an instant. Is this something a human can do? The Sky Fire Martial House's disciples had the same thought as they were disappointed by Yi Chunfeng's strength. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng's ranking changed again. He had reached the 20th place. Although there was still an insurmountable gap between the top 10 and the top 20, after seeing Yi Chunfeng's shocking change in ranking, the majority of the people's thoughts changed. They were leaning towards Yi Chunfeng suppressing Shintu Heng. Even Shintu Shui had a deep sense of unease in his heart. Large amounts of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Yi Chunfeng's fighting spirit was high. When he reached the middle half of the 5th layer, he encountered a huge obstruction. 4 first-grade earthly beast generals appeared at the same time and attacked him from all sides. Although the first-grade earthly beast generals in the Heavenly Soul Array were not strong and were far inferior to geniuses like Shintu Heng and Yen Yu, they still caused quite a bit of trouble for Yi Chunfeng. Sword Aura. The attack was suppressed by the 4 people's tacit cooperation. An ear-piercing sword cry sounded from Yi Chunfeng's body. In the next moment, a resplendent sword ray gushed out and drew a sharp sword ray in the scorching air. It chopped towards the 4 first-grade earthly beast generals at a speed that was hard to see with the naked eye. Chi! With the sound of cloth being torn apart, the heads of the 4 first-grade earthly beast generals were chopped off by Yi Chunfeng's sword aura. Their lifeless corpses fell to the ground and turned into nothingness. After using his sword aura to kill the 4 people, Yi Chunfeng didn't slow down and continued to rush towards the end of the 5th layer. Under the attack of the invincible sword aura, the enemies in the 5th layer were still unable to stop Yi Chunfeng's advance. When Yi Chunfeng reached the end of the 5th layer, his points had exceeded 10,000 and his ranking had risen to 11. He was only 1 rank away from 10th place. Pervert, animal, monster, inhuman. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's shocking ranking, the martial house disciples in the Heavenly Soul Array Hall were numb. They didn't know what words to use to describe Yi Chunfeng. Phew, I've finally entered the 6th layer. I wonder what my current ranking is. Yi Chunfeng punched through the array pattern restriction and entered the 6th layer. So hot, the temperature here is so high. Yi Chunfeng discovered that the 6th layer was like a huge furnace. The entire space was burning with raging flames. Yes, 7 second-grade earthly beast generals. When Yi Chunfeng circulated his 6 meridian divine shield to increase the strength of his body and resist the heat waves, he discovered that 7 terrifying experts had appeared within the surging heat wave. And from the aura emitted by these 7 people, they were all 2nd-grade earthly beast generals. Chapter 86. Sword Aura. Yi Chunfeng injected his sword aura into the broken sword, and a shocking sword light shot out. After being amplified by the broken sword made of special materials, Yi Chunfeng's sword aura became even more terrifying. As the sword slashed down, a deep sword mark appeared in the scorching hot space. It cut through the rolling heat wave and slashed towards the 7 Class 2 Earth Beast generals that were attacking together. Facing Yi Chunfeng's sword aura attack, the 7 Class 2 Earth Beast generals all condensed 7 different shaped weapons and attacked the sharp sword light. Suddenly, a series of deafening explosions rang out. The powerful force caused the surrounding heat wave to explode, forming a cyclone. Shifting Phantom. The moment the sword light shattered, Yi Chunfeng used Shifting Phantom and relied on his powerful physical strength to penetrate the rolling cyclone and approach the 7. Yi Chunfeng suddenly closed in. 2 Class 2 Earth Beast generals wielding spears and bronze dagger axes attacked at the same time, stabbing towards Yi Chunfeng at close range. Yi Chunfeng's chest was pierced by the spears and bronze dagger axes, but he didn't show any pain on his face. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's body distorted and slowly dissipated under the rolling heat wave. Speed Shadow. At the crucial moment, Yi Chunfeng pushed Shifting Phantom to the extreme and condensed a Speed Shadow to deceive the 2. Strength Burst. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng's strength burst out to the extreme. Dense blood and qi energy erupted from his body like smoke signals. Yi Chunfeng compressed his 60,000 gene of strength to the limit, and an unparalleled terrifying fist aura shot out. Wherever it went, the air would explode, and the airflow would surge. The fist landed on the chest of a 2nd-rank Earth Beast general, sending him flying. After sending one person flying with one punch, Yi Chunfeng's broken sword once again shot out a mercury-like sword light, stabbing towards a Class 2 Earth Beast general on the left. Facing Yi Chunfeng's fatal attack, this Class 2 Earth Beast general didn't dodge. Instead, he swung his heavy hammer towards Yi Chunfeng's head, wanting to take him down with him. As the hammer fell, the sword light from the broken sword pierced into his body, directly splitting his body apart. Meanwhile, the heavy hammer was blocked by Yi Chunfeng's left hand that had gathered 60,000 gene of strength, not harming Yi Chunfeng at all. After using all his strength to kill one person, Yi Chunfeng used Shifting Phantom and continuously dodging attack. He approached the heavily injured Class 2 Earth Beast general who was sent flying by his fist. Sharp sword lights rained down like a storm, ruthlessly chopping into his body, directly shattering his heavily injured body and dissipating it in midair. After killing 2 people in succession, Yi Chunfeng's pressure was greatly reduced. With his imposing aura, he displayed his strength to the extreme, continuously contending with the 5 Class 2 Earth Beast generals. When he found an opportunity to kill the 3rd Class 2 Earth Beast general, his ranking changed again. His points had successfully surpassed Shintu Heng, breaking into the top 10 of the Heavenly Fire Martial ranking. Terrifying, too terrifying. This is Yi Chunfeng's 2nd attempt at the Heavenly Soul Array, and he's already in the top 10. He has created a brand new record in the Heavenly Fire Martial House. After witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng breaking into the top 10 with their own eyes, gasps rang out in the silent hall. Almost everyone present was convinced by Yi Chunfeng's astonishing strength. Impossible, this can't be real, this can't be real. Shintu Shui and Shintu Bing's eyes were wide open as they stared blankly at Yi Chunfeng's name replacing Shintu Heng's, becoming the 10th ranked expert on the Heavenly Fire martial ranking. For the first time, a strong sense of fear rose in their hearts. Die! Relying on his absolute strength, Yi Chunfeng forced back the 2 second-rank Earth Beast generals riddled with wounds with 2 punches. Then, he once again unleashed a terrifying sword aura that merged with the broken sword. He slashed out a shocking sword aura that broke through the defenses of the 2 Earth Beast generals and cut off their heads. Huff, huff, 2 left. After using all his strength to kill 5 people, Yi Chunfeng's exhaustion was obvious. If not for the fact that he had reached 60% of the viscera refining stage and that his internal organs were constantly being tempered to replenish his soul power, he wouldn't have been able to hold on. Bang! A loud muffled thunder sounded under Yi Chunfeng's feet. His body once again erupted with astonishing strength as he charged towards the 2 remaining Class 2 Earth Beast generals. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng used all his strength to finally kill the 2 of them. His ranking went 1 step further, surpassing Lin Kazhu, who was ranked 9th, and rising to 9th place. Huff, huff, it's getting harder and harder. After risking his life to kill 7 Class 2 Earth Beast generals, Yi Chunfeng had used up almost 80% of his soul power. Just as he wanted to stall for time and take the opportunity to recover, 6 more figures appeared in front of him. Sensing the strength of these 6 people, Yi Chunfeng's heart went cold. This was because he discovered that these 6 people were all Class 3 Earth Beast generals. Although the Earth Beast generals in the Heavenly Soul formation were far weaker than those in the outside world, Yi Chunfeng's exhaustion and injuries weren't light. Furthermore, these 6 people's strength exceeded his limits. He knew that he was powerless to reverse the situation. I wonder if I can kill 1 person with the might of my sword aura? Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and gripped the life-saving stone in his hand. He was prepared to challenge the 6 Class 3 Earth Beast generals. Whoosh! Light flashed beneath Yi Chunfeng's feet as he shot towards the 6 Class 3 Earth Beast generals like an arrow released from a bow. As soon as they exchanged blows, he saw how terrifying the 6 of them were. Just the aura that they released caused his blood to churn and his arms to go numb. His attacks were completely suppressed. But under the immense pressure, Yi Chunfeng's potential was stimulated bit by bit. As he dodged with shifting phantom, streaks of sword aura fused into the broken sword as he contended with the 6 Class 3 Earth Beast generals. 60,000 kilograms of strength. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng's soul power was about to run out, he gritted his teeth and pushed his strength to the limit. He leapt high into the air and unleashed a powerful punch towards the only Class 3 Earth Beast general who used his fists. Boom! Their fists collided and immediately exploded with a shocking recoil. The 2 of them spat out mouthfuls of blood at the same time. Sword aura, exterminate. Yi Chunfeng used his powerful physical strength to forcefully stabilize his body. Before the other 5 Class 3 Earth Beast generals could launch their attacks, he wielded the sharp broken sword and launched his final attack. Under the enormous pressure, Yi Chunfeng unleashed 120% of his attack power. Adding on the amplification from the broken sword, the sharp sword light carried an astonishing destructive power as it cut through the air and chopped down on the head of the rank 3 Earth Beast general who had lost control of his body. Chi. The Class 3 Earth Beast general's defenses were broken. His head was split open by Yi Chunfeng's sword, and his entire body exploded. The moment his body exploded, Yi Chunfeng crushed the life-saving stone and enveloped his body. He disappeared from the 6th space of the Heavenly Soul Array. Chapter 87. Yi Chunfeng has come out. Seeing Yi Chunfeng walk out from the inner hall with a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth and a slightly pale face, the Martial House disciples in the main hall immediately looked at him with reverence. It was easier for the strong to conquer people's hearts. 8th place. Yi Chunfeng raised his head slightly and looked at the ranking on the jade wall. There was no joy or sorrow on his face, as he sat cross-legged on the ground and silently circulated the soul-devouring art to recover his consumed soul power. Roughly an hour later, a groan sounded out. Shintu Heng, who had consumed a lot of soul power and was weak, fell out of the light door in a sorry state and fell to the ground. After a simple recovery, Shintu Heng crawled up from the ground and came to the main hall. When he saw Yi Chunfeng sitting cross-legged in the main hall after he had finished breaking through the array, the corner of his mouth rose slightly and a cold smile appeared. Yi Chunfeng, the heavenly soul array is not so easy to break through. Your dog shit luck has come to an end. The complacent Shintu Heng did not even think that his result was far inferior to Yi Chunfeng's. He walked in front of him and said arrogantly. As Shintu Heng's words fell, the Martial House disciples in the main hall revealed strange smiles. There were even many people who laughed out loud. Shintu Heng, are you blind? Yi Chunfeng, who had basically recovered, opened his eyes and looked at Shintu Heng, who was ridiculing him, and said coldly. Seeing the mocking gazes around him, and hearing Yi Chunfeng's cold voice, Shintu Heng felt a trace of suspicion. When he turned around and looked at the jade wall, it was as if he had been struck by lightning and his mind went blank. A kind of shock and unimaginable emotion emerged on his pale face and finally filled his entire face. This is impossible. With your strength, how could you reach 8th place on the Heavenly Fire Martial ranking? You must have cheated. Shintu Heng, who had recovered from his shock, roared loudly and questioned Yi Chunfeng's result. Shintu Heng, you are indeed a sore loser. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said disdainfully. Elder Tan, Elder Lu, this Yi Chunfeng definitely cheated. Please investigate this matter thoroughly and give us an explanation. Shintu Heng was flustered and exasperated as he pleaded. Cheating? Elder Tan said with a serious expression. The Heavenly Soul Array was created by several Heavenly Fire Sects elders who are proficient in array patterns. They spent several days to inscribe thousands of array patterns. The array contains a large number of restrictions. Do you doubt the strength of the Heavenly Fire Sects elders? Aye. Hearing Elder Tan's stern questioning, Shintu Heng was immediately rendered speechless, not daring to refute. Shintu Heng, you don't have to be so agitated. Yi Chunfeng sneered and said, have you forgotten? We still have to go to the Great Soul Arena to compete. After the competition, you will know whether I cheated or not. Alright, wait for me to recover, then we will go to the Great Soul Arena. Shintu Heng nodded and said gloomily. At this moment, he still did not believe that Yi Chunfeng, who was a rank 5 beast illusionist, was stronger than him. More importantly, he still had a terrifying trump card. Time slowly passed. While Shintu Heng was adjusting his breathing, Lin Kazhu had also completed her challenge and left the Heavenly Soul Array. 8th place. When Lin Kazhu saw Yi Chunfeng's result, she was so shocked that her mouth opened wide, revealing a look of horror. Before the challenge, Lin Kazhu had already overestimated Yi Chunfeng's result. But when she saw Yi Chunfeng's final result, she realized that she had still underestimated him. About an hour later, Shintu Heng used the elixir to recover the soul power he had consumed and adjusted his condition to its peak. Let's go to the Great Soul Arena. Shintu Heng slowly stood up and looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was talking to Lin Kazhu, and said coldly. He could not wait to teach him a lesson. Let's go. Yi Chunfeng smiled and arrived at the Great Soul Arena with Shintu Heng. Following them were hundreds of Sky Fire Martial House disciples. Almost everyone wanted to know if Yi Chunfeng was strong enough to crush Shintu Heng. Killing is not allowed in the Great Soul Arena. Otherwise, there will be severe punishment. Elder Tan was afraid that the two would kill each other because of hatred, so he warned sternly before the battle. Don't worry, Elder Tan, I won't kill him. Shintu Heng's eyes flashed with an ominous glint as he looked at the calm Yi Chunfeng and said in a low voice. After saying that, Shintu Heng slapped his Qianquan bag. A shining blue moonlight, the water moon blade, which was a middle-rank spirit tool, flew out. Holding the water moon blade in his hand, Shintu Heng's aura became a bit more ferocious. A gigantic lizard with a dark green tongue that was emitting a faint blue soul light slowly appeared on his body. Elder Tan, can we start now? Feeling the fierce aura emitted by Shintu Heng, Yi Chunfeng was like an indestructible boulder. He stood there motionlessly and asked with neither joy nor sorrow. Yi Chunfeng, you don't need a spirit tool? Elder Tan looked at the bare-handed Yi Chunfeng and asked in astonishment. Against him, I might not need a spirit tool, Yi Chunfeng said overbearingly. Shintu Heng was so angry that his face turned black. Blue veins popped out on his forehead like earthworms. Yi Chunfeng, I hope you can still be so arrogant in a while, Shintu Heng said with a gloomy face. He couldn't help but want to make a move. Start. Following Elder Tan's order, Yi Chunfeng and Shintu Heng moved at the same time. A tyrannical water-blue blade slashed down from the sky, carrying an astonishing destructive power as it slashed towards Yi Chunfeng. Whoosh! A light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet as he brushed past the descending water moon blade and dodged to the side. Then, he used his palm of flesh to slap the blade of the water moon blade. 1. More than 60,000 jin of strength poured into the water moon blade. The powerful strength produced a vibrating force that was like 10,000 horses galloping, causing the water moon blade to tremble violently. The careless Shintu Heng almost lost his grip on the blade. How is this possible? How can his strength be so strong? Shintu Heng, whose arm was numb, had a huge change in expression. He couldn't imagine that Yi Chunfeng, who was a rank 5 beast illusionist, could explode with strength that was more than 10 times his own. Blood Serpent Seal. While Shintu Heng was shocked, Yi Chunfeng's hands moved quickly. In an instant, an extremely powerful scarlet-red seal was formed and pressed towards Shintu Heng's chest. Break! Shintu Heng reacted quickly. As he retreated, he slashed the water moon blade and broke the blood serpent seal. The moment the blood serpent seal was broken, Yi Chunfeng's sharp senses caught the moment the blade fell. He took a step forward and his entire body exploded with astonishing strength as he punched towards Shintu Heng's chest. Not good. Feeling the terrifying power of Yi Chunfeng's punch, Shintu Heng instinctively placed the water moon blade in front of his chest to defend. Bang! The water moon blade received Yi Chunfeng's most powerful punch and once again produced a powerful rebounding force. The blade ruthlessly slammed into Shintu Heng's chest, injuring his body. Chapter 88. Shintu Heng is injured. He was injured by Yi Chunfeng's bare hands. This Yi Chunfeng is too abnormal. If he breaks through to the rank 1 Earth Beast General Realm, I wonder how strong he will be. Witnessing Yi Chunfeng's punch that made Shintu Heng vomit blood, the martial house disciples around the Great Soul Arena were discussing spiritedly. Beast Soul Armor. The pale-faced Shintu Heng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth with his sleeve. His spirit beast, the giant lizard, emerged from his body and condensed a blue armor on the surface of his body. It covered his entire body and greatly increased his defense. Beast Soul Armor was a divine ability mastered by Earth Beast General experts. After condensing the Beast Soul Armor, the body's defensive power would greatly increase, but correspondingly, the consumption of one's soul power would be obvious. Gale Blade. Shintu Heng roared, fiercely attacking Yi Chunfeng with the water moon blade in his hand. Sharp blade lights swept towards Yi Chunfeng like a storm. Phantom Shift. Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was about to be enveloped by Shintu Heng's Gale Blade, a light flashed under Yi Chunfeng's feet, and he instantly transformed into a speed shadow. Boom! The Gale Blade slashed down, and Yi Chunfeng was directly swallowed by the Gale Blade's shadow, disappearing without a trace. Before Shintu Heng could rejoice, he suddenly felt a strong sense of danger behind him, and instinctively wanted to dodge. But the moment he dodged, Yi Chunfeng's fist, which had compressed his strength to the extreme, fiercely bombarded his body, forcibly smashing the beast's soul armor covering his body and injuring his body. Afterimage. How fast is this speed? He actually condensed a speed afterimage. Witnessing Yi Chunfeng condensing a speed afterimage in an instant, deceiving Shin Tu-heng, and injuring him with a punch, the great soul arena was in an uproar. Yi Chunfeng's strength had completely conquered them. Gale Blade. Shin Tu-heng forcibly suppressed his roiling blood, and continuously attacked Yi Chunfeng with the Water Moon Blade. For a moment, the entire great soul arena was filled with blade chi, too much for the eyes to take in. Shin Tu-heng, your attacks are too slow. Facing Shin Tu-heng's frenzied attacks, Yi Chunfeng did not panic. Using the Transfiguration Phantom of the God-Eater Brain's inheritance, he easily dodged the sharp blade lights and approached Shin Tu-heng. Soul Fright. Yi Chunfeng pointed at the air, and a sharp beam of light shot out, spinning towards Shin Tu-heng. Pooh! Caught off guard, Shin Tu-heng's chest was hit by the Soul Fright finger. The sharp finger hit the beast's soul armor and left a deep mark on its surface. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's entire body erupted with astonishing physical strength as he punched out at close range. The terrifying fist radiance carried an incomparable oppressive feeling, leaving behind a white ray of light that was several feet long in the air. It bombarded Shin Tu-heng's chest. The terrifying power made Shin Tu-heng feel an intense sense of suffocation. Lunar Shadow Slash. Feeling the terrifying power of Yi Chunfeng's punch, Shin Tu-heng retreated while holding his blade with both hands. A crescent-shaped blade light with a long tail slashed down, slashing at Yi Chunfeng's fist light. Boom! Yi Chunfeng's fist light was shattered, and a thunderous sound exploded. The powerful force shook the air, causing dense water ripples to appear. Sword Force. The moment the fist light was shattered, Yi Chunfeng used his finger as a sword and shot out a sword light condensed from Sword Force. It drew a sword mark in the air, directly breaking through the beast's soul armor and piercing through Shin Tu-heng's chest. A large amount of blood spurted out from Shin Tu-heng's chest like a fountain. Too strong. This Yi Chunfeng is really too strong. He completely restrained Shin Tu-heng. Yeah, Shin Tu-heng is powerless to reverse the situation. If he continues to fight, he will only be humiliating himself. Looking at Shin Tu-heng, whose chest was bleeding profusely and whose face was pale without a trace of blood, almost no one was optimistic about him. But Shin Tu-shui and Shin Tu-bing revealed expressions of fear. They had never dreamt that Yi Chunfeng's strength would grow so quickly. In just a few months, he had grown to a level that they could only look up to. No, I won't lose. I must win. Covering his bleeding chest, Shin Tu-heng was like an injured and hungry wolf as he roared loudly. He was proud and arrogant, and had never placed Yi Chunfeng in his eyes. He would never allow himself to lose to Yi Chunfeng in front of so many people. Yi Chunfeng, you forced me to do this. Shin Tu-heng's eyes revealed an awe-inspiring look. He quickly took out a blood-red pill from his spatial bag and swallowed it. Boom! A surge of blood chi burst out from Shin Tu-heng's body, like smoke rising into the sky. Under the stimulation of this blood-red pill, Shin Tu-heng's strength rose steadily, quickly surpassing the level of a first-grade Earth Beast General and reaching the peak of a second-grade Earth Beast General. 9th grade Frenzy Demon Pill. Seeing Shin Tu-heng enter a berserk state, Elder Tan and Elder Lu's expressions changed slightly. They had never thought that Shin Tu-heng would use a 9th-grade Frenzy Demon Pill to fight at all costs. Yi Chunfeng, I'll take your life. Shin Tu-heng, whose eyes were blood-red and was emitting a berserk aura, roared loudly and launched a fierce attack at Yi Chunfeng. After forcefully reaching the level of a second-grade Earth Beast General, Shin Tu-heng's attack power and attack speed had greatly increased. One after another, sharp blade rays slashed down unceasingly, forcing Yi Chunfeng to retreat step by step. Frenzy Wind Blade. While Yi Chunfeng was dodging the blade rays with shifting phantom, Shin Tu-heng soared into the sky and rained down blade rays, enveloping Yi Chunfeng. Broken Sword. Yi Qinfeng's pupils shrunk to the size of a pinhole as he looked at the raging winds and saber auras descending from the sky. He suddenly slapped his Qianquan pouch, and the broken sword shot out like a bolt of lightning. Yi Qinfeng held the broken sword in his right hand as a powerful sword aura gushed out from his body, piercing through the sky. The terrifying sword aura made everyone's heart tremble. Sword aura, this seems to be sword aura. Elder Tan and Elder Lu were both experienced and knowledgeable people. Sensing the sword aura contained in Yi Qinfeng's sword, their expressions changed simultaneously. Because even the house master of the Sword Hall of the Heavenly Fire Sect, Qian Daobai, was unable to comprehend the sword aura that swordsmen yearned for even in their dreams. It could be said that any swordsman who comprehended sword aura would become a world-shaking figure in the future. Sword aura break. Yi Qinfeng waved his sword and a terrifying sword ray shot out, breaking the blade rays that filled the sky and slashing towards Shintuheng, whose expression had changed greatly. Chi! Shintuheng only saw a flash before his eyes. In the next moment, his right arm was pierced through by the sharp sword ray. His bloody arm separated from his body and fell to the ground with the water moon blade. Ah! Having his right arm cut off by Yi Qinfeng, Shintuheng was in so much pain that he let out a heart-wrenching howl. A large amount of blood spurted out from his severed arm, dyeing the ground red. Shintuheng, you are destined to be the loser. Chapter 89. What? Third brother was fighting in the arena and his right arm was chopped off? Deep in the Sky Fire Martial House, in a quiet courtyard, Shen Tu Shui was standing in front of a young man who was not tall but abnormally strong. He was emitting a strong oppressive aura as he reported in fear. This young man was the third-ranked expert on the Sky Fire Martial ranking, the top genius of the Shen Tu family clan, Shen Tu Kuang. Who did it? Shen Tu Kuang said with a gloomy expression. His eyes emitted a penetrating gaze that made people shudder. It was Yi Qinfeng who did it. Shen Tu Shui explained the matter in detail. Yi Qinfeng. He reached 8th place on the Sky Fire Martial ranking? Knowing that Yi Qinfeng had reached 8th place on the Sky Fire Martial ranking as a Grade 5 Beast Illusionist and defeated Shen Tuheng, Shen Tu Kuang's expression turned even uglier. This Yi Qinfeng is indeed a scourge. Shen Tu Kuang said in a low voice. Second brother, only you can deal with him now. If he is allowed to continue growing, he will probably become a huge threat to our Shen Tu family clan. Shen Tu Shui pleaded bitterly. Do you think Yi Qinfeng is so easy to deal with? Shen Tu Kuang said with disappointment. With his talent, the Sky Fire Martial House would have long been alerted. If we were to deal with him privately, what awaits us would be the Sky Fire Martial House's harshest punishment. Then what should we do? Are we going to forget about third brother's revenge? Shen Tu Shui said unwillingly. Of course not. Shen Tu Kuang said gloomily. In a few days, there will naturally be people who will deal with him. Time passed day by day. Yi Qinfeng had chopped off Shen Tuheng's right arm in front of everyone. After shocking everyone, no one in the martial house dared to find trouble with him. During this period of time, Yi Qinfeng had been cultivating in the Spirit Gathering Array to break through to a Grade 6 Beast Illusionist. While Yi Qinfeng was in closed-door cultivation, the Sky Flame Martial House regained its calm. Suddenly, 3 blazing firebirds with fiery red feathers, a 10-meter-long tail, and a wingspan of more than 10 meters appeared in the sky above the Sky Flame Martial House. Fire-winged Windbird, the emissary of the Heavenly Fire Sect, is here. The entire Heavenly Fire Martial ranking fell into a state of shock as they looked at the blazing bird whose feathers reflected the red sky. Other than Qian Daobai, who had yet to return, the other elders all came to the conference hall to welcome the arrival of the Heavenly Fire Sect's envoy. Greetings, emissaries of the Heavenly Fire Sect. Seeing the 6 Sky Fire Sect envoys jump off the Flamewing Windbird, the Sky Fire Martial House's Vice House Master Hua Lingfeng led a group of Martial House elders and immediately went forward to greet them. What about Qian Daobai? Is he not at the martial house? A middle-aged man dressed in a dark golden robe, his eyes sunken into his cheeks, and his body emitting a faint pressure, swept his gaze over the Hualing Feng group as he arrogantly asked. The martial house master has brought 12 martial house elders to guard the surroundings of the cemetery of death, to prevent the heaven-splitter ghost immortal from escaping. Hualing Feng reported. Yes, let Qian Daobai come back. I have something to ask him. The middle-aged man arrogantly ordered. Also, arrange a place for us to rest. Yes. Hualing Feng did not show any displeasure on his face as he respectfully complied. He immediately ordered people to arrange a place for the 8 experts of the Heavenly Fire sect to rest. Second brother, the emissaries of the Heavenly Fire sect are here. Through my connections, among the 8 emissaries sent by the Heavenly Fire sect, there is indeed Senior Brother Yushan Xian, who has a good relationship with Big Brother. Just as the emissaries of the Heavenly Fire sect settled down, Shintu Shui immediately came to Shintu Kuang's small courtyard and told him the news. Wait for me here. I'll go and pay my respects to Senior Brother Yushan Xian. The corner of Shintu Kuang's mouth curled up as a trace of coldness appeared. He was prepared to use Yushan Xian to deal with Yi Qinfeng. Shintu Kuang pays his respects to Senior Brother Yushan. Shintu Kuang withdrew his arrogant nature as he stood outside Yushan Xian's small courtyard and respectfully shouted, "Come in." A lazy voice sounded in the small courtyard. "Shintu Kuang, why are you looking for me?" Yushan Xian, who was lazily lying on a bamboo chair and drinking bamboo tea, asked softly as he looked at Shintu Kuang, who was slowly walking in. The reason why Yushan Xian knew Shintu Kuang was because Shintu Kuang's elder brother, Shintu Lin, had graduated from the Heavenly Fire Martial House in his early years. He was fortunate enough to enter the Heavenly Fire sect's Yin Yang Hall and was from the same sect as Yushan Xian. Yushan Xian's grandfather was a Yin Yang Hall elder. In order to get closer to Yushan Xian, Shintu Lin had privately invited him to the Shintu family clan many times. When he was a guest in the Shintu family clan, Yushan Xian had met Shintu Kuang before. "Senior Brother Yushan, what do you think of this lady?" Shintu Kuang took out a portrait of a beautiful lady and handed it to Yushan Xian as he asked softly. "Yes." The moment Yushan Xian opened the portrait, he immediately sat up from the rocking chair. His eyes were burning as he asked, "Who is this lady?" "This lady is called Ji Qingshu. She is known as the #1 beauty in the Zijin Empire. She is currently in the Heavenly Fire Martial House. I wonder if Senior Brother Yushan is interested in her?" Shintu Kuang asked with ill intentions. "Shintu Kuang, I am indeed interested in this lady. However, I am also interested in your true motives. You did not come to me purely to curry favor, right?" Yushan Xian looked deeply at Shintu Kuang as he said softly, "To be honest, I would like to ask Senior Brother Yushan to help me deal with someone. Ji Qingxue is that person's woman." Shintu Kuang exaggerated the conflict between the Shintu family clan and Yi Qinfeng. "Shintu Kuang, your Shintu family clan can't be so cowardly. Does your Shintu family clan not dare to take revenge for Shintu Heng's right arm being chopped off by that person?" Yushan Xian said coldly. "Sigh, that Yi Qinfeng is the martial house's main nurturing target. He is also favored by the martial house lord. We really do not dare to take revenge on him. However, Senior Brother Yushan is different. With Senior Brother Yushan's status, you are naturally not afraid of the Heavenly Fire Martial House's rules. As long as Senior Brother Yushan takes away Ji Qingshue's virginity, it is very likely that you will be able to crush Yi Qinfeng's martial heart. When that happens, it will be easy for my Shintu family clan to take care of him." Shintu Kuang continued to encourage him. Virginity. Although Yushan Xian could tell that Shintu Kuang was using him as a tool, he really did not put the Heavenly Fire Martial House in his eyes. Furthermore, when he first saw Ji Qingshue's portrait, he was attracted by her fairy-like beauty and her extraordinary temperament. He could not wait to capture her and savor her beauty. All right, on account of your brother, I will help you take revenge. Thank you, senior brother Yushan, Shintu Kuang said with a face full of joy. Tell me, where does Ji Qingxue live? I will go find her now and get close to her. Yushan Xian licked his scarlet lips and asked with a lecherous look. She lives in. Shintu Kuang told Yushan Xian about Ji Qingxue's residence in detail. All right, I got it. After saying that, Yushan Xian went to Ji Qingxue's courtyard with a face full of arrogance. Yi Chunfeng, I want to see what you can do this time. I can't deal with you, but someone else can. I want to see how you deal with Yushan Xian, and then be ruthlessly trampled to death by him. Chapter 90. Senior Brother Yi, something bad has happened. Someone has barged into Ji Qingxue's courtyard and is trying to harm her. Yi Chunfeng, who had been cultivating in the spirit-gathering array and had just reached a bottleneck, was suddenly awakened by an anxious voice transmission. Who are you? Yi Chunfeng's eyes shone with a piercing light. He looked at the strange man who had come to report and questioned him coldly. I am a disciple of the martial house who admires senior brother Yi. When the man saw Yi Chunfeng's sharp gaze, he swallowed hard and stuttered, Sir, I'm sorry. Is that so? Yi Chunfeng asked in a low voice, Tell me what happened. As he had been cultivating in the spirit-gathering array, Yi Chunfeng did not know that someone from the Heavenly Fire sect had come. Just a moment ago, someone forcefully tore apart the formation pattern in Junior Sister Ji's courtyard and barged into the courtyard. He threatened to make Junior Sister Ji his woman. The man forcefully suppressed the fear in his heart and stammered. Who is that person? Is he not afraid of the Heavenly Fire Martial House's rules? Although Yi Chunfeng sensed a trace of suspicion from the man's panicked expression, he did not doubt his words. I don't know either. The man shook his head. Could it be someone from the Shin Tu family clan? Thinking of how Ji Qingxue had always kept a low profile in the Heavenly Fire Martial House, he knew that someone was targeting her because of him. And that person was most likely an expert from the Shin Tu family clan. Sigh, I really shouldn't have agreed to act out that scene with Ji Qingxue. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly in his heart. It was that scene that had increased Ji Qingxue's danger and brought him a lot of trouble. So, although Yi Chunfeng did not want to have any deeper ties with Ji Qingxue, he would not let Ji Qingxue be implicated and humiliated by him. With a slight movement of his body, a shadow appeared in front of the man's eyes and disappeared into the spirit-gathering array. Too terrifying. Although Yi Chunfeng did not emit a powerful aura, the man who reported the news felt an immense pressure standing in front of him. His clothes were drenched in cold sweat. Ji Qingxue, who was cultivating in her room, suddenly sensed that the formation patterns in the courtyard had been forcibly torn apart. She immediately woke up from her cultivation. When she appeared in the courtyard, she saw a young man wearing clothes woven from golden silk. His face was full of arrogance as he sized her up with a burning gaze. His naked gaze constantly swept back and forth between her beautiful face and her jade peak. Who are you? Why are you forcefully destroying my courtyard's formation and trespassing into my courtyard? Are you not afraid of the martial house's rules? Ji Qingxue was disgusted by Yushan Xian's gaze and warned him in disgust. Manner rules? Yushan Xian revealed a disdainful smile and said, I'm not from the Heavenly Fire Martial House. The house's rules are useless against me. Also, don't expect anyone to save you. Even if Qian Daobai was here, I wouldn't give him face. Who are you? When Ji Qingxue heard Yushan Xian's arrogant words, she felt even more uneasy. However, she pretended to be calm and asked, I'm from the Yin-Yang Hall of the Heavenly Fire sect. My grandfather is an elder of the Yin-Yang Hall. Yushan Xian proudly revealed his background. You're the Heavenly Fire sect's envoy that came today. After knowing Yushan Xian's identity, Ji Qingxue's face turned even paler. From his eyes, Ji Qingxue could sense a dangerous aura. That's right. I came to find you today to give you a great opportunity. Yu Shanxian revealed a faint smile and looked at Ji Qingshue's beautiful body with a burning gaze. He walked over step by step. I appreciate young master's kindness, but I only want to cultivate steadily. I'm not interested in the opportunity that young master spoke of. Young master, please leave. Ji Qingxue took a step back and tactfully refused. AI, since that's the case, I can only use force. Ji Qingxue refused. Yu Shanxian's smile instantly turned cold. A powerful aura emitted from his body and locked onto Ji Qingxue. What do you want? Feeling the pressure from Yu Shanxian's aura, Ji Qingxue suddenly felt suffocated. Her face turned pale as she shouted loudly. What do you think I want? Yu Shanxian looked at the beautiful Ji Qingxue and said arrogantly, It's your fortune that I like you. As long as you serve me well and follow me obediently, I can ask my grandfather to make an exception and recruit you into the Yin-Yang Hall. But if you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being ruthless. You don't come over. If you come over again, I'll call for help. Ji Qingxue did not expect Yu Shanxian to be so arrogant and have the intention to rape her. She suddenly felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She felt cold from head to toe and was trembling in fear. Haha, call for help? Even now, you're still hoping for someone to save you? Yu Shanxian laughed loudly and said, Let me tell you, it's useless no matter who comes today. You're destined to be unable to escape from me. Young Master Yu, aren't you resting? Why are you here? Just as Yu Shanxian was about to use force, an old voice suddenly sounded. Elder Lu and Elder Tan, who had a good relationship with Yi Qinfeng, appeared together. Why? Do I need to report to you where I'm going? Yu Shanxian did not expect Elder Lu and Elder Tan to appear and ruin his plans. His face instantly darkened as he said coldly, Young Master, you must be joking. Naturally, we don't dare to restrict Young Master Yu. It's just that Ji Qingxue is a disciple that I like and want to take in. I hope Young Master Yu can give me some face. Elder Lu ignored Yu Shanxian's ferocious gaze and said slowly, What if I don't want to give you face? Yu Shanxian snorted coldly and said domineeringly. The ferocious light in his eyes grew stronger. Young Master Yu, although our status is far inferior to yours, Elder Tan and I have some connections with the Heavenly Fire Sect. If the Heavenly Fire Sect knows that you're bullying a female disciple of the Martial House, I think Elder Yu's face will not look good. Elder Lu took a deep breath and said, Scram. Hearing Elder Lu's warning, Yu Shanxian was even more annoyed. He said in a low voice, Young Master Yu, I told you to scram. Did you hear me? Yu Shanxian could no longer control the anger in his heart. A faintly discernible armored rhinoceros appeared on his body. His surging aura rushed toward Elder Lu and Elder Tan like a stormy sea. Although Elder Lu and Elder Tan were level 4 Earth Beast Generals, Yu Shanxian had already broken through to level 5 Earth Beast General with the help of the Heavenly Fire Sect's huge resources. His strength was far superior to theirs. Facing the impact of his powerful aura, Elder Lu and Elder Tan were forced to retreat continuously. The blood in their bodies churned violently. I'll warn you again. Get out of my sight immediately. Otherwise, I won't be polite to you. Yu Shanxian was like an enraged lion as he warned coldly. Ji Qingxue saw that Yu Shanxian did not even put Elder Lu and Elder Tan in his eyes. Her beautiful eyes immediately revealed a look of despair. What arrogance! Let's see who can touch her today.